Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Odin's Movie Blog. I am the critic who is a cynic. How is everyone doing this evening? Happy Saturday. Also, Happy New Year to everyone, since I believe we have not had a stream since the new year began. So thank you so very much for being here this evening. We're going to be talking about the best films of 2019 tonight, what my preliminary list is looking like, what maybe some of your favorite films of 2019 are, and of course, we'll be talking about the rise of Skywalker box office and just where this film is going to end up. Based on my early projections, it seems like the film will cross the $1 billion mark, but the giant question mark still remains: how much across $1 billion will it actually reach? Will it be able to surpass films like The Joker? Will it possibly be able to get to that $1.1, even $1.2 billion range? Based on the numbers that we have coming in, it seems very questionable about whether it'll reach the $1.2 billion range at this point in time, but that's the kind of stuff that we'll be talking about tonight as well. So how is everyone doing in the chat? We got some D-Live people. Captain Peabody is over there on the D-Live. We've also got some people already in the YouTube chats. We got Stephanie B and Tina. How are my Valkyries doing? Hope y'all doing great. We got Keck44, Mike and Martinez, Slicer Neons, Cupcake Geek, Rhaegar Targaryen, Father Christopher Miller, Teresa Martin, Apollo Patriot is here also. We've got Hyper and X13, Dory the Hobbit, Zacharat. Cupcake Geek says, love the new intro, Odin. Well, thank you very much, Cupcake Geek. I decided to add that to the live stream beginning, so that way we have the official intro when we're about to begin. So hopefully everything came through okay. Hopefully it wasn't too loud for anyone out there. Alex McCarthy says, howdy, Odin. How's it going? Lots of people here, so stopping by to say Gary had a comic book store. Yes, allegedly he had a comic book store back in the day. We hear about it all the time, but I'm still starting to question whether or not it's real or not. Did we ever actually see the comic store? Have we actually seen him inside said comic book store? I have a lot of questions and a lot of doubts. Charlie Chan, what's going on? Soul Assassin is here. Super Anime Gamer, hey-oh, what is up, my dude? What is going on, Super Anime Gamer? Slice of Neon says, Odin's alive. No Slice of Neons, you're alive. HyperNex13 says, love the new intro. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Laura, Ryan stole my fanfiction story. Your new intro video is intense. Well, thank you very much. Hopefully, it's good. Hopefully most people are enjoying it. Based on the comments from the more recent videos, since I've been adding it on, most people's comments at some point or another has been like, love the new intro. So I'm glad to hear that it's getting a lot of positive reaction. Not a bad $7 to spend. So I was very happy with the overall product. Teresa Martin is already putting her stuff out there. She's like, John Wick 3. Hey, John Wick 3 is definitely on my list. That is for sure. All right, let's see. Where are we in the chat? Chat's already jumping up on me already. We got JJ in the chat as well. What is going on, JJ? Alex McCarthy says, Commando is the best movie of 2019. The problem is, Alex McCarthy, you little troll, is that Commando did not come out in 2019. Obviously, it came out in the 1980s, which I am slowly but surely starting to actually watch some films from. So if you've been watching the Welcome to Asgard channel, which is my secondary channel, find the links for it in the description of the video. That is where I've been posting a lot of smaller reviews for movies, like retro movies from the 1980s mostly. One movie from the 90s today as well. And yeah, it's been really cool to be watching a lot of these movies that I've never seen before, including The Last Starfighter, which I had never seen prior to yesterday. And oh man, that film was fantastic. Was very, very happy with that film. Bruce, I know, had sent it my way, and it said that that was a movie that he thought could possibly get remade today with better upgraded effects. But to be perfectly honest, I just don't even want them to touch that, because there are so many things that happen in that movie that we don't think is problematic. But because we're now in 2020, and especially in 2019, I just don't trust modern-day Hollywood, really, to be able to handle that film the way that it should, respecting the source material, respecting the way that it originally was, without adding some type of woke narrative to it. Unfortunately, because I think that it could definitely benefit from better effects. Bruce says, glad you watched and liked What About Bob? Yes, so I have finally seen What About Bob. So that was sent to me also by Bruce on DVD. Finally watched that today. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Gave it a solid B. It wasn't a, for me, roll on the floor with laughter type film. It wasn't hilarious, at least for me. I think, to be honest, I was getting a lot of people tweeting at me for my review, just quotes from the movie. And I think just that alone made me laugh more than the actual quotes in the movie itself. That's not to say that it's a bad movie by any means. I thoroughly enjoyed it because Bill Murray is just a likable guy. He's always played that very likable character, and sometimes he plays these very eccentric characters, but they're still very likable. So overall, I thought What About Bob was fantastic. So thank you, Bruce, for sending that my way. But I Can Sail. Micah Martinez, I watched yesterday, last night, and it was such a heartwarming film. For anyone that hasn't seen it yet, I would recommend giving it a watch. Yeah, that is also going to be a film that I'll be talking about a little bit tonight because, yeah, it is fantastic. It's a very interesting concept for those that don't know about it. We'll talk a little bit about it as we go through my list of movies, but yeah, it's pretty fantastic, I would say. Clark Kent, don't forget, 1917 is opening worldwide next week. It could push Rise of Skywalker to number 2 at the box office. I think it will. By the very fact that The Rise of Skywalker is plummeting in the box office, it had a 59% drop on Friday. Yesterday, it had a 59% drop from last weekend. It is projected to drop around 49 to 50% this weekend, making around $36 million, meaning it's going to make about $10 million a day. And when you take that into account and you realize that 1917, which I think is a very well-promoted film, very hyped film among film lovers at the very least, that film is definitely going to be making more than what likely will be another 50% drop for Rise of Skywalker next weekend. And it's not because I think that the film is just going to be bringing that many more people to the theater, talking about 1917. I think it's just that people have, if you've wanted to see Rise of Skywalker, you've already seen it. And based on my interactions with people that have seen it, they don't really feel the need to see it again in theaters. And so I think that the reason why the film is petering off so quickly is because it does not have that rewatchability factor. Some people might think it does, but based on the box office, it just doesn't seem to be the case. Now, is it still going to cross $1 billion? Yes. It's still going to break even. It only needs to make so much more money. Only needs to make so much more to actually break even. So, yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting to say the least. Clark Kent, thank you very much for reminding me, though, that 1917 is indeed opening worldwide next weekend, and I plan to go see that baby opening night. I found a way to allegedly watch the first 5 minutes of it, and I realized, you know what? I'm not watching it this way. I need to see this movie in theaters because it just looks spectacular. It was a movie that I was already planning to see in theaters, but I figured I kind of want to get my top 10 movie list out already, and that's the only movie that I'm waiting to watch right now. There's a couple other films that I have some general interest in seeing, but 1917 is like the one film that is like at the top of my list of films I have to see before I make my official top 10 list, because the cinematography for that film alone and all the people attached to it, technically speaking, it just screams a film that Odin would probably thoroughly enjoy, and I really do think I will. So I'm holding off on making my official list until I finally see that. All right, let's see. HyperX13. Good to see you, dude. Saw 12 Angry Men, and it's a masterpiece, not counting the remake. 10 out of 10. Yeah, the remake, screw that. Screw the remake. No, the original black and white film, there's a copy available on Criterion. It is freaking fantastic. It is one of my all-time favorite films, and the fact that they're able to bring the staged version into a very well-made cinematic version where it basically is like a play in and of itself, it's just masterful. And every actor in that movie is freaking brilliant. And if you have ever been a fan of The Twilight Zone, if you watch that film, you'll realize, wait a minute, a lot of these actors have been in a Twilight Zone episode or 2 or 3, or vice versa. If you watch Twilight Zone after seeing that, you'll say, oh my goodness, that was this person, this person. There were so many great actors in that movie, which is the reason why. It had great writing, great direction, great acting, literally everything. It ticks off all the boxes, and I subjectively love it. So that's the reason why, overall, it's still one of my all-time favorites. We got Lost Soldier 212 in the chat. Zach Gregg's in the chat. Michael Thompson is in the chat as well. I notice you. I see you. But as you all know, if you have a comment or question that you want me to read aloud specifically, just type in Odin question, all one word, Odin question, and put your comment right next to that. It'll highlight orange in my chat, and then I'll know you're trying to get my attention. Let's see. Tina B says, we haven't seen as the chat jumps on me, because that is just what happens. While I'm trying to pull this back up, Captain Dean Heist is celebrating a 3-month anniversary sub streak over on DLive. So Captain Dean Heist, thank you very much, man, for that. I really do appreciate it. While Captain Peabody says, realize why you haven't seen movies I sent. They are still packed away, so that's fair enough. You will get them eventually. Exactly, Peabody. Yeah, so unfortunately, I think I've been mentioning it in the videos that I've been reviewing. There's a lot of movies that I have that have been sent to me that are currently packed away. And as I've mentioned previously, I don't really plan to unpack them since we're probably moving in the next month or so. And I'd rather not have to unpack and then repack everything. So there's some movies that I have, all the ones that have been sent to me since I've been here in Tennessee. They're readily available. They're on the shelf right next to me. And there were maybe a few films that I got right before we left that I never got to actually fully pack, and I have those in a box in the back. But yeah, so that's the reason why I've fallen behind, but I am starting to. I'm finally watching some of these movies. So again, welcome to Asgard. You can follow my progress through those films. But yeah. All right. But thank you very much, man, for understanding. Trust me, I plan to watch all of the movies that I've been sent, and I will say this much, that at the very least, summertime, I'll have a lot more free time and definitely be able to have more time to watch. Of course, we've got spring break, Easter break, things like that that'll be coming up this semester. And so I'll have some moments where I'll be able to sit back, relax, and be able to enjoy some of the films that I have been sent. All right, it looks like the chat has jumped on me. We must have a lot of people in here tonight because the way that it's been working ever since Streamlabs OBS updated is that now the chat's no longer integrated into basically OBS Streamlabs does not work seamlessly with Restream, which is how I stream to both DLive and YouTube at the same time anymore. It used to work very well, but now I have to have a popped up window, and so I never really know how many people are watching. So let me see here. We've got 75 people watching. So the chat is just, not a record. The chat's just jumping tonight. So thank y'all so much for being so active in the chat. I appreciate it. But unfortunately, Tina's comment that I was about to read, I was not able to get to in time. But Captain Peabody, I'll get to your comment over on DLive first. He says, 1917 I thought was bad, so you should love it. And they do have the line, do you know the way? Oh, do you know the way, my friend? Oh, do you know the way? I'm sad that you hated it, Peabody. Why do you always hate really good movies and love really bad movies? I don't understand it. It's like you and Alex McCarthy should start a channel where it's like, let's start the bad movie channel. The Bad Movie Lovers Club. I don't even think that made any sense. Michael Thompson, thank you very much for the $10 super chat, man. Thank you. He says, love the channel. Man. You bring something different than the usual ranting. Well, thank you, Michael Thompson. I really do appreciate that very much so. I'm glad that you are enjoying it. Please let me know if you have any questions in the chat. Father Christopher Miller, hail Father. He says, I have never seen Top Secret. You're right, I've never seen Top Secret. Apollo Patriot, I really love Greek mythology. It's fascinating. It is definitely a fascinating subject. And with a name like Apollo Patriot, I can only imagine that you have an interest in that. Apollo Patriot, do you think it's Hades doing this to Disney? No, I think it's human beings doing this to Disney. It's human nature, which has been corrupted by things like greed and ego, and I think all of that is the reason why Disney's in the state that it's in and why Star Wars is in the state that it's in at this point in time. Cupcake Geek says, love the new intro, Odin. Well, thank you, Cupcake Geek. I appreciate it. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't skip. I just went back all the way to the beginning. Oh, man. Can you tell that it's been a while? Because it's been a while. Now we have Tina. All right, I got back to your original comment. We haven't seen the inside of Gary's alleged comic book store. Haven't seen your alleged movie blog either. Check out Blogspot. Type in just in Google Odin's movie blog Blogspot, and you'll find the old movie blog. There was also one, actually, if you want to go back even further, go to odin777.tumblr.com or something like that. I have an old Tumblr account from when I used to cover movies as well. Captain Wingster, Odin Senpai, it's been a little while. Why do you keep saying Star Wars will make over $1 billion? I'm going to live in a different reality writing blog post about toxic men. Well, good for you, Captain Wingster. I hope that works out for you. I hope that works out well for you. But I keep saying that because it's just simply the way the world is. Because based on these numbers, let me try and just break it down for you, all right? Most movies, most big budget movies, will make between 70% and 50% of their entire box office in the first 2 weeks. So in order for Rise of Skywalker to not reach $1 billion, that would mean it would have had to have made 75 to 80% of its entire box office in the first 2 weeks, which is incredibly rare to happen. Is it possible? Sure. It's incredibly rare. You add into that the fact that we're still in the holiday season. Obviously, people are going to be going back to school this coming week, and very little competition, which is not going to end until mid-January or so, when there's actual films coming out that are going to be, I guess technically you could say 1917's release. Getting a wide release, that's definitely going to provide some competition. But as far as other films that are actually going to take away similar fan base of the people going to see Star Wars going, we don't really have that coming out until probably mid-late January. And so I think that all of these things take into account, and also just looking to the history of how the box office has worked previously, there just doesn't really seem to be a scenario where it doesn't cross $1 billion. Is it possible? Absolutely. Anything is possible. The legs on that film could just completely dry up. We're just not seeing that right now. The fact that the film is set to make around $36 million domestically and cross $900 million internationally this weekend is pretty much indicative of the fact that it will eventually cross $1 billion. But it looks like it might have to struggle its way past $1 billion and not be the sure thing that many people said that it was going to for a long time. Cupcake Geek. What is going on, Cupcake Geek? He says, I just got back from a holiday, and on the flight home, I watched Detective Pikachu. So good. Also, I really like Hobbs and Shaw. Hobbs and Shaw I was not a fan of. If the film had ended at the first ending, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I mean, where it seems like a natural place to end the movie, and basically not going to frickin' the Philippines or whatever is that or Samoa, not going there, I think it would have been better. But the fact that they just kept going, it just was too much for me. Also, Roman Reigns' inability to act was just a little too much for me to handle. Detective Pikachu, though, is a fantastic movie. If you want to have a great family film to watch, a film that's meant for the whole family, Ryan Reynolds doing the voice of Pikachu, hey, I don't know what else I could sell you on there. Super Anime Gamer, I'm good, thanks. Just finished watching The Two Popes. Hopkins and Price are fantastic, and the cinematography is ridiculous. I'm assuming you mean ridiculously awesome. That is a movie on my to-watch list. I'm probably going to like that film, just because of the nature of the film itself, and having followed a lot of the pontificate of Francis and Benedict previously, but I've been holding off on it a little bit because obviously it is a Netflix movie, and we all know that when it comes to Netflix, Hollywood in general, they're not really that fair when it comes to their coverage of the church. And so I'm kind of hesitant because I'm afraid of them trying to spin Benedict in a certain way or Francis in a certain way, and that's why I've been kind of holding off on it. So I think I'm going to like it, but I think because of those reservations, it probably won't actually pick up into one of my all-time favorites, or one of my all-time favorites of 2019 at the very least. Faux Nemo is in the D-Live chat. Captain Peabody, Faux Nemo, Captain Peabody, thank you very much for letting him know what the title is. We got Kentucky Boy 88 and Carrot in the chat as well. Jumping back over to YouTube, Slice of Neons. Actually, the intro is more in-house than intense. Actually, the intro is more in-house than intense. I see what you did there. Took me a second, but I see what you did there, you little smart aleck. Apollo Patriot, I want to see 1917, he says. I do as well. The cinematography looks fantastic. Mike Martinez, Ford v Ferrari was fantastic. Might be my favorite of 2019. It's a great film. The big issue that I have with it is I just don't feel like the film I could watch over and over and over again. That could easily change. Again, I have not seen it a second time because I just don't really feel the need to watch it a second time. But maybe if I did, maybe if there's ever a situation where maybe my wife wants to watch it one night or something to that effect, maybe I will watch it in the future. But it's a film I have no plans to buy it. So if someone buys it for me, obviously, well, then I'll have it available. But it's not really a film I feel like I need to have in my collection. That's just me, though. It's still a very good film. Bruce says, I have a new keyboard now so I can keep up with the chat this time. Awesome, Bruce. Yeah, glad to hear that the keys, hopefully all the keys are actually working. HyperX13, hey dude, just wondering, did you get my email for the Super Showdown Bowl Part 3? Yes, I did, just have not had time to watch it. Laura says, clarification, your new intro is intense in a good way. That's what I figured. And I had hoped. Charlie Chan, is the new Little Women woke? Well, here's the thing. I've never seen the original. I've never read the book. Based on the trailer, it seems to be. It seems like they have changed certain things. They've, I guess you say, not modernized because it's still set in a certain time in history. But it does seem like Greta Gerwig, who I just think is one of the most overrated actresses, directors, writers in Hollywood today. It does look like she probably stressed certain things more so than the other films have, but I can't confirm that because I've never seen the original and I have no desire to see it either. It doesn't really scream to me. In the words of Brie Larson, it wasn't made for me. And I think that, honestly, this one wasn't made for me. And not in the way of it not being made for anyone. Just me personally, it just doesn't really call out to. Father Christopher Miller says, 80s aren't retro. Well, they kind of are, man. Father, I hate to say it, man. But 80s are definitely in that retro mix. Captain Wingster, Odin, have you seen Tango and Cash? I've never seen Tango and Cash. Cupcake Geek, when will you host the Raven Awards? The Raven Awards will be the same night as the Oscars. So same night as the Oscars. And so let me go ahead and pull that up. Oscars 2020. So the Raven Awards will be February 9th. So it'll be February 9th. That will be a Sunday. And the stream will start from probably the very beginning of the Oscars and go all the way until the Oscars end. And we'll do our own awards ceremony, boycott. And I know that Greta, if she's going to be watching that night, she'll probably pop in and post some Oscars results. I won't be following the Oscars because that's the whole point of it, is that it's an Oscars boycott. So that's going to be when the Oscars themselves or when the Raven Awards, the second annual Wednesday Raven Awards, are going to happen. And then as far as the actual nominations go, I think I'm going to try and line it up this year with the nominations for the Oscars as well, just to kind of add to that boycott. So normally they do a live stream. So normally they have some type of a live stream with that. So I'm thinking of maybe trying to set mine to announce, schedule my video with the Wednesday Raven Award nominations to announce at the same time, because that could be a lot of fun. But it looks like the Oscar nominations are going to be announced, I want to say, end of January. I don't want to sign up for your subscription service, New York Times. Why would I? That just sounds silly. Let's see here. Nominations are announced January 13th. All right, cool. So the or is that the Governor Awards? Is that the Governor Awards? Presentations. No, never mind. So the nominees are going to be announced January 13th. Cool. So I'll make, so therefore the nominations, so Valkyrie, if y'all can post a link to that, if you want to vote for nominees, if you want to recommend people and films for the nominees for the Wednesday Raven Awards, the Valkyrie are going to be posting a link to a what is it called? Crowd something. Basically, it's just a way. It's a little thing you can type in any nomination you want. You can fill out all the categories. You can fill out half the categories. It's really up to you. But you have nominations for things like Best Movie of the Year, the Kathleen Kennedy Ryan Johnson Award for Excellence in Crap World Building, Lifetime Achievement Award, Best Original Story Film, Best Low Budget Film, Most Unnecessary Remake, things like that. You also have NPC of the Year, Shill of the Year, and a lot of other fun categories like that. So those will be closing on the 12th. So nominations, you will not be able to nominate after the 12th. So you've got a lot of films to look at or need some time to actually be able to fill things out. Make sure you get on that. Alrighty, let's see. Lost Soldier 212. Hey, brother, it was great seeing you on Midnight's Edge. I put Joker as my number one film of 2019. That's subjective and objective. I think that, objectively speaking, it is one of the best films of 2019. There is no argument there for sure. And that's a very good number one pick. Absolutely, man. And thank you. Yeah, it was great to be invited on to Midnight's Edge, and I had a good time over there. It was a very good discussion. Tina, thank you very much for letting them know how to contact me. Father Christopher Miller, baby steps, Father says. Yes, indeed. That's a What About Bob reference. Laura says, have you seen Groundhog's Day? Yes. Yes, I have seen Groundhog's Day several times. Stephen Glasker, is Alita Battle Angel in your top 10? It could be. It very well could be, Stephen Glasker. Maybe not in the position that many people think it might have been, because it was at one point my number one film of the year, but then a lot of other films came out. Some people might be upset with that. However, I'll let y'all know what it is in a second. Micah Martinez, Joker comes out on Blu-ray this Tuesday. Can't wait to pick it up. Yeah, man, I've already pre-ordered mine. A bunch of people won copies of Joker on 4K and Blu-ray. Those will be shipping out this week. Looks like Amazon maybe got backed up with orders because some that are supposed to have shipped by the 7th when it releases aren't going to be shipping out or arriving until January 9th. And then there's a couple people living in certain locations where I think it's like the 10th or 11th. But those were already pre-ordered if you won that contest, if you won that giveaway not too long ago. So anyway, yes, it comes out this Tuesday, though, if you want to buy your own copy. I got a Steelbook edition, 4K Steelbook from Best Buy. Cannot wait to pick that up. I think it's going to be a great release. Tina says, I saw What About Bob years ago, and the only thing I came out of it thinking was, Richard Dreyfuss, why haven't you hired a hitman to get rid of Bob? I was going to think, why don't you just call the cops to arrest him for coming to your private home? But obviously, I think it all works within the context of the film. Alex McCarthy, I feel good, I feel great, I feel wonderful. Another What About Bob reference. Tucka, what's going on, Tucka? What should Marvel do now since they don't have a superhero team-based movie series? Well, they do. They still have the Avengers. The Avengers will be returning. Based on what I've been following, you've got films like Black Widow coming out next year. You got the Eternals coming out next year as well. And it's all going to be a part of the next phase building up to what eventually will be the next Marvel Avengers film. It'll be a new Avengers type sequence. But yeah, the Avengers aren't going anywhere. That's still very much a part of their plan. There will be at least another. In fact, I would say not even just at least one. There's going to be several probably Avengers films. As long as they keep making money, they're going to keep on making them. And that's going to be the big question mark is, will they continue to make money now that you have the loss of people like Iron Man, etc.? Are these secondary characters and these, I guess, more politically motivated characters, I think one could argue, are they going to be enough to bring in the audiences or not? I think that it's definitely a good it's a good question to ask. Jumping over to D-Live for a second, Captain Peabody says, 1917, objectively speaking, the cinematography was good. Dialogue is terrible. Acting is okay. Storyline is basic. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Peabody. He also says, 1917, take a friend who can nudge you when you fall asleep. You see, I think I'm not going to fall asleep, though. I know I can get tired in films, but if the cinematography is as great as the first 5 minutes looked, I'm going to be hooked the entire time. Because things like that, like I become a nerd when it comes to cinematography. And so if it's as good as the first 5 minutes, especially since, for those that don't know, one of the big, some say gimmick, I say one of the cool elements of 1917 is that it's all shot as one take. So it starts off, just like spoiling the first 5 minutes, it starts off on basically a field. It backs up, reveals certain things, and then follows people, and it's all one shot. And just the skill that it takes and the choreography of all the actors that it takes to get that type of sequence is impressive every single time I see it. So it's definitely on my top things to look forward to for sure. And that's why I can't wait for next week to go see it. Phone Nemo, I'm pretty sure you haven't seen a single movie at this point. Not seeing Tango and Cash. Good Lord. I'm working on it, man. I have officially gotten, 3 or 4 films that were sent to me taken care of. So I'm getting there. Peabody, thank you for letting know how it happens. And Kentucky Boy 88, thank you very much for following me over on D-Live. I appreciate it. Jumping back over to YouTube, Slice of Neon says, 2020 looks to be a promising time of hope, peace, and understanding. Wait, election year, better start praying. Yeah, seriously, absolutely. I don't have a lot of high hopes for the culture in 2020. If you thought 2019 was bad, just wait until it gets close to October and November. I think that the culture is just going to go crazy, especially if all of this talk of fighting and war and troops and everything, if all that stuff goes haywire, it's going to be a disgusting politically and culturally this year, I think. Bruce says, 2 down, 15 to go, movies that he has sent. That's right, because Bruce has indeed kept the list of the movies he sent me. I'm glad that you have, because there's some movies where I'm like, I think Bruce sent this to me because he sent me the most films, but I know that there's been other people that have sent me films too, but most of them have been from Bruce. John Early, Allfather, I know this is off topic, but I asked your rival John Campy about whether I should watch the theatrical cuts of Lord of the Rings or the extended cuts, and he said theatrical. Did he really? It depends on what you're trying to watch it for. If you've never seen it before, you might do better watching the theatrical because it is shorter and you'll get through them all more quickly. However, which versions are better? The extended. I think the extended editions are so much better. They give you so much more detail. They give you so much more story. And overall, I think it creates what's already an epic story into an even more epic story. So, yeah. Campia can have his own opinion on that, but I think that anyone in the chat will tell you the extended editions of Lord of the Rings are better. But for your first time, if it is your first time, theatrical might be better suited for you. As it says, you want to tip your foot in the water before diving in all the way sometimes. And I think that if you think, oh, okay, I'm going to watch the 4-hour cut of every one of these movies, you might get discouraged early on. So it might be better to watch the theatricals first. But the correct answer in its entirety, watch the theatrical first so that you can then watch the extended editions. Hardwick, is there any chance that you will rescore your new intro with Ride of the Valkyries? Probably not, man. Probably not. Because that would require a lot of editing and such that I don't have the talent for. Mikey Martinez says 1917 looks phenomenal. I'm planning on seeing it sometime next weekend. Very cool, man. Yeah, I'm planning to see that opening night. I'm definitely planning to see that opening night. All right. Chat jumped on me once again. Now it looks like there are some people that have been skipped. Tina at 7:12 p.m. said that there were now 98 people watching. So hello to the 98 people watching. Please smash the like button. It really would mean a lot. David S. at 7:12 in the chat says, "Hey Odin, it's me, David. How are you? Did you watch The Witcher? Great for the audience and fantastic for the fan. I have seen the entire Witcher series and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a very well done series. I think many people's argument that it's taking the place or it's filling the gap of what was left behind by Game of Thrones is pretty accurate. I think that it definitely fits that fantasy narrative. I do have issues with the very gratuitous and, to me, pointless nudity. I know that there's some people that are going to argue saying, oh, no, but it's a reference to the game. It's a reference to the game. And that's all fine and dandy, but when you have it in there and it doesn't need to be in there and the story would continue without it, then it doesn't need to be in there. So that's the religion teacher in me talking, man. So, but I do like the series. I think the series is solid for sure. HyperNex13 from 12 Angry Men is saying, Juror 8, I'm just saying, Rise of Skywalker not passing $1 billion is possible. Juror 3, well, what do you mean it's possible? It's already a hit. What do you mean it's possible? What a great film. Stephen Glasker, also think Jumanji should be on the list. Just saw it, and it was fantastic. Stephen Glasker, I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I liked it too. Not enough to make it onto my list, though. That I will tell you that much. That is not enough to make it onto my list. Michael Martinez, The Dark Knight Rises was voted Best Film of the Decade by LAD Bible, beating The Wolf of Wall Street, Inception, and Toy Story 3. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's nonsense, Mikey Martinez. Best Film of the Decade to The Dark Knight Rises. Hey, I'm a huge fan of the Dark Knight trilogy, with the exception of Dark Knight Rises, which I think is by far the weakest of the films. It's still good. It's still a Christopher Nolan movie. You know, it's still technically good. I just didn't enjoy it. But best film of the decade, hell to the no. Absolutely not. You would have to put films like Whiplash up there. You'd have to put films like, oh my goodness, one with Jake Gyllenhaal, Nightcrawler, into that list as well. There's a plethora of other films that would be far above and beyond what The Dark Knight Rises did. Hardwick says, Molly Fitzgerald, who plays the showgirl Howard Stark kissed at the Stark Expo in Captain America First Avenger, has been arrested and charged with stabbing her mother to death. Wait, in real life? That's not good. No. Robert Harp says, Just Mercy looks pretty good. I just have no interest in it. I feel like I've seen that story told 1,000 times now. Like, it might be its own unique story about an actual event, but I just feel like I've seen that movie already. I feel like there's been other films that have covered that same type of sentiment of, oh, wait, there's injustice in the criminal justice system, and we're going to showcase that injustice, and we're going to seek redemption. I'm tired of it, to be honest. I think that if we're going to tell stories about hardship, let's start to tell different stories. That's just me, though. Sasha Dion's, Allfather needs some defense classes to stop getting jumped. Yeah, seriously, man. Absolutely. Rosetta Allen, they may like bad movies, but they know more about the 80s than you do. Yes, but I'm slowly but surely adding to my 80s knowledge. Alex McCarthy, I don't always love bad movies. Watched Hellboy 2019 today and thought it was meh. Yeah, I would hope not, because, there were some I will say this much. There were some things about that movie that I didn't hate. Doesn't mean that I liked it. Teresa Martin, just after becoming a patron, Happy New Year. Oh, well, thank you very much, Teresa Martin. Thank you very much. I thought I saw your name pop up. So thank you very much for joining at the Chosen of Valhalla level. Thank you. Thank you very much. And so the way that it works is that it'll be processed, I think, February 1st. And so you'll be added to the Twitter chat, things like that in February. So thank you very much, though, Teresa. I really do appreciate that. Thanks for jumping on. Zach Gregg, I saw The Rise of Palpatine, and it's too many plot holes. Yeah, way too many plot holes, and it's a giant mess. It's also just a narrative mess. It's 2 or 3 films crammed into about 2 hours. That's not how you make a good movie. Mega Martinez, I don't really care about the supposed JJ cut. Disney should just move on from this trilogy. Yeah, I agree. And I've mentioned this on Midnight's Edge and on Friday Night Tights. I don't think this JJ cut would make any difference. Yeah, at the very least, it would be more, it would work, if you know what I mean. It would make more sense. It would at the very least be a film that you could follow and that would at least make some sense logically. Basically, that I don't think it would be a mess. The supposed JJ cut, it wouldn't be a mess. But just because a film's not a mess doesn't mean that it's going to be a good movie. So it just wouldn't change my opinion on any of that. Captain Mr. Roy over on DLive, dude. Holy crap. Thank you for dropping 3 diamond donations over there. No message, just dropping the diamonds. Thank you, Captain Mr. Roy. I appreciate it, man. And Phonemo asks, I'd have to go with Nightcrawler as the best film of the decade. I think that's a great shout. That film is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely agree with that decision. Let's see. Clark Kent says, if Rise of Skywalker makes $1 billion, it breaks even. It needs to make 1.5 to 1.6 billion to make a profit. No. So, Clark Kent, it needs to make just about 30 million more. So it will, there's a very good chance it breaks even this weekend. If it makes it to that $920 million worldwide, I'll put it into my box office. In fact, let me go ahead and just put that in now. That way I can let you know. So let's assume right now the projection is that it'll get around 920 million by the end of this weekend. So 920, hold on, let's see, 920, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so at that point, if it makes to the 920 million, it would at that point be about 10 to $15 million in profit. So if it makes it to 920, basically that means if it needs to make to around 900 million in order for it to be profitable. I know that some people might argue with that figure, but that's being very conservative with the production budget and with the marketing budget as well. And really, it's all that we can do. The numbers that I have in my Excel sheet, which you can follow over on OMB Reviews.home.blog. There's a section there for following the box office. Basically, $350 million production budget seems to be the most realistic. There are some people that are lowballing it, saying it was 275. Others that are trying to make it higher than what it is. But basically, it's going to possibly break even this weekend. And if not this weekend, then it'll be making profit by next weekend, most likely. Cupcake Geek, Jumanji was so good. Odin, you need to watch it if you haven't seen it already. I saw it. I enjoyed it. I thought the first one, or technically the second one, the first one of the reboot basically was better. I know people say it's not a reboot. It is essentially a sequel reboot, is what the last one with The Rock was. All right, Harwick Bentho, if J.J. Abrams directs a DC movie, I'll give him one more chance. He did a good job on Mission Impossible 3. He's had only 2 strikes, Star Wars and Star Trek, one more, and he's out. Yeah, he's kind of already out for me, because the fact is he doesn't know how to finish a story. He doesn't know how to finish a broader story, right? So you look to things like Lost. You look to any movie series that he's had, like the Star Treks and the Star Wars. So I don't want him to take anything up, because if anything, they'll try and keep him on to make a series of films. And we just all know how that's going to end, because he has a pattern of behavior that we just cannot simply ignore at this point. Grandmaster Yoda says, episode 9 second weekend on 59%, which is standard, is a giant disaster when you think about how many was gone from work and Christmas. Again, still doesn't make any sense, dude. You got to work on those sentence structures, man. I don't try and do that often. I don't want to call people out, but it's really hard to try and read through your comments, man. But no, it was a standard drop. It was a standard drop, and it doesn't matter how many people are off for Christmas. It's still a standard drop. Let us use here's the problem that I'm having a lot of people in the comment section. People are trying to make this to be out worse than what it actually is. It's already not good. We don't need to embellish. We do not need to try and twist. We do not need to try and spin. Things are already not looking very good, because even if this film makes money, it is still going to be the lowest grossing Disney Star Wars of the Disney Star Wars trilogy. It's going to be the lowest grossing. Let's take that fact. Let us take that fact and run with that instead of trying to spin other things. Anyway, getting off my high horse for a second. Glenzer says, despite how much the Disney Star Wars trilogy has made, how much money do you think they left on the table? Well, it cost around $4 billion for them to get the franchise. I tweeted about it a while ago. I don't know where it is at this point. I just don't have the focus right now to grab it, because I wasn't planning on talking about that. But based on the numbers, it looks like they are still not in the red, or rather, they're still not in the black when it comes to their overall purchase. Specifically, if you're just looking at their Star Wars revenue, because one could easily argue that the money they're making, the crazy profits they're making from the Marvel series, could make up for any losses. But if you're just looking as a self-contained thing, all the Star Wars properties they have, it doesn't look like they have made up the money that they spent originally on the project. So just a little fun fact there. Slice of Neons, mythology, fun stories to pass the time, absolutely not role models for morality material, yes. Micah Martinez, Detective Pikachu is a fun family movie. I very much agree, absolutely. Hardwick says, Lauren Hissich, the showrunner of The Witcher, said that every single shot of Geralt is Henry Cavill. Even if all you see is a hand or a boot, he used no stand-ins or stunt doubles. That's awesome. Henry Cavill, through this whole process of promoting his movie, has been fantastic. Like, everything that he's been doing and has been saying has just been so refreshing, because we haven't had a lot of Hollywood types that have really been very pro-fandom, and it's been very, very nice that they've been able to do that. Yellow Flash 2, thank you for the $5 super chat. Says thanks for the Blu-rays. Hey, thank you very much, man, for the super chat. I appreciate that, and no problem at all. No problem at all. Shock Jock Productions, what's up, Odin? Got a question for you to ponder. What is the meaning of meaning if meaning has no meaning? What is the meaning of meaning if meaning has no meaning? Nothing. That's my answer to that question. Nothing. Captain Wingster, Odin, what do you think about the recent Pope memes? You mean the ones of him slapping the hand of a of a Catholic? Yeah. There's also now been another video that's popped up of a religious sister reaching out to him at one point and him smacking her hand away. And she, in that one, didn't even grab her. So it's not looking good. And some people think that as a Catholic, I can't criticize the Pope. He's still a human person. I have to respect the Pope. I have to respect the office of the papacy, absolutely. But I do not have to avoid any criticism. And I think that kind of stuff is not a good image for him. And based on a lot of rumors that have been said about him, about having anger and things like that behind the scenes, this kind of stuff doesn't help. It doesn't help. I still think he's a great person. I still think that he's a genuinely good person, but it's not helping him. I can say that much. 70B, thanks for letting them know how it's done. And Pin Drop, what's going on? Pin Drop, I feel like it's been forever since I've seen you in this chat specifically. So Pin Drop, great to see you back. Boston, what's going on, Boston? I hope you enjoyed your break. Glinzer, what movie have you seen the most times? If you say 28, you will break a certain Valkyrie's record. No. I don't keep count, really, of the films that I've seen, how often or how many times I've seen them. I'd say movies that I've seen the most, probably films from my childhood. When you're a child, you tend to watch things on repeat a lot. So you'd have to put things like Addams Family Values up there for me and my family. You would also have to put things like the Pee-wee Christmas special. That's a staple in my family as well. Random things like that. There are not a lot of movies that I could tell you exactly how many times that I've actually seen them. Definitely not anywhere close to my Valkyrie's record, that's for sure. Hardwick says the Two Popes is getting scathing reviews from Catholic publications and even the National Review for being allegedly extremely inaccurate. Yeah, I haven't really been following a lot of the reviews of that because there's a lot of biases on pretty much all sides. Again, pretty much on all sides there. Geek Truth, I'd give the Oscars 0% chance of me agreeing with the winners. I would say no, because when it comes to things like cinematography, they're normally pretty spot on. And technical categories, they're usually spot on with the winners. Nominations, not so much. They've actually nominated things like Transformers in the past for best visual effects, and one can argue that the visual effects were good or groundbreaking. CGI noise, I've always had a pretty big issue with. But they are sometimes pretty good when it comes to things like cinematography, I would say. Tina says, I never read Little Women either. Not my cup of tea. I've seen the versions with Kate Hepburn and June Allison and Winona Ryder, and all three versions bored me. Yeah, it does seem like a boring film. Superman Gamer, it's good. The film is primarily about Francis, but it feels very honest. I don't think it disrespects either pope. It outlines their worldviews, strengths, and weaknesses very well. All right, very good to hear. Tina, I heard Cats was up for a Golden Globe or two. So much for these awards. What is good? I don't remember that happening. unless it's like visual effects, which I would say, if you have to fix your film, for those that don't remember, when Cats was released, 3 days after release, they announced that they were re-releasing the film with updated and fixed visual effects. If you have to do that for a movie, you shouldn't be getting nominated for anything. So I don't know what it would be nominated for. Megan Martinez. So The Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 have the same release date. One of those movies are going to get pushed back. And it's probably going to be Matrix 4. Some people might say, but Matrix is gigantic. Yeah, but Matrix 3 sucked. You got the Wachowski brothers, and I know there's someone in the chat that's going to correct me saying it's actually this. No. They're men, no matter what they say. So the Wachowski brothers, I don't have a lot of faith in them because their work since the Matrix has not been good. The only thing that I could say is Keanu Reeves is one of the only saving graces about the fact that they're doing it is that he's coming back to the project. But I imagine John Wick 4 is going to keep that release date or is going to get a better release date if it does move. Let's see here. Hyperin, I heard that Studio Ghibli with Hayao Miyazaki are making a comeback with 2 new movies. Thoughts? If that is true, that's awesome because they do really great work. Super Anime Gamer, and because the film is so personal, The Two Popes is shot almost documentary style, handheld, close-ups, but it's got some amazing wide aerials too, and lighting is pretty flawless. Very good. JJ, hello, Odin. Hope you had a good year. Since it's a new year, we should give out some 4Ks. All right, man. Sounds good to me. I'll check my phone in a little bit if you pushed any stuff in there. Super Anime Gamer, okay, I'll stop gushing. Okay. Hardwick, did you know that Stephanie Meyer of Twilight initially wanted Henry Cavill to play Edward Cullen? Well, thank the Lord he didn't. Chappie says, I'm sailing. That's from What About Bob? Orange Hat Reviews, happy belated New Year. Saw Jojo Rabbit. It was good. Your thoughts? Technically, it was good. I didn't like it. So that's one of those, I think that's one of those examples of, objectively speaking, I think it's a well-made film. Subjectively, I just wasn't a fan. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't find the humor. And normally I like Taika Waititi's humor. Again, What We Do in the Shadows is a fantastic film. I like Thor Ragnarok. There's a lot of people that have a lot of opinions on that movie. I thought that film was great and hilarious. Was not a fan of Jojo Rabbit, though. Technically, it's still good, though. Objectively speaking, it is still a pretty well-made film. Mike Martinez, the next Avengers movie will probably be released in either 2022 or 23, but I don't really care about the MCU as much as I used to. I think a lot of us are there, man. I think a lot of us feel that way because of a lot of the nonsense that they've been doing recently. Captain Wingster, I've only fallen asleep once during a high school play, and I was tired. I've fallen asleep during quite a number of movies. G-Monkey76, Marvel Phase Woke is building to A-Force the Wham and Avenger team. I don't think that's going to be their big one, to be honest. I think if they were smart, A-Force would come out the same year as a full-on Avengers movie. Because how are you going to spin that? How are you going to spin, all of the male Avengers are not present right now? It's almost as contrived as the actual movie of Endgame, where on the battlefield, somehow all of the women find each other at the same time. It's so contrived. And so if they do that in isolation without setting up for it or doing something that makes sense, it's just going to be bad. It's just going to be really, really bad. Super says, I think that Disney will retire the Avengers title, but I totally agree that we'll be seeing more team-up films. I think they'll stay profitable as long as they keep legacy characters. You know what? I disagree. I think that they will keep the Avengers title in movies because it sells. I mean, think about that. Star Wars used to be that point where if you put Star Wars in the title, it could probably make money. Obviously, the brand has been damaged so much that's not really the case anymore. The Avengers last movie made $2.7 billion. So that's a very strong IP, a very strong title. So I think they'll still keep that name because normies will see that and say, oh, it's another Avengers movie? I need to see that. Even if they haven't seen the other films that have been leading up to it. Bruce, you want the list? Context movies I sent you. Yeah, go ahead. Email it to me. Apollo Patriot. Where we go one, we go all. What? That didn't make any sense. Superman Gamer. If Rose McGowan's tweet yesterday was any indication of the year to come, then I want to go back. Oh, God, I was so stupid. Rosetta Allen, always extended edition of Lord of the Rings. WTF, that's not a question. Yes, it is, because not everyone's going to be able to handle the 4 hours plus of epic awesomeness. Some people need to, again, dip the toe in first. You don't always dive in head first. Just saying. All right. So the chat jumped on me again. So let me go ahead and actually start talking about some of my favorite movies of the year, since obviously I feel like I'm never going to get there because the chat just keeps going and going and going. All right, so let's start off with some honorable mentions for my favorites of the year. And so if you've been following me over on Letterboxd, you already have access to this list. A couple of films have been shifted around, but as of today, these are my top 14 films. So let's do some honorable mentions, and this is in no specific order. It is in an order on Letterboxd, but in all honesty, I think that these films could all be intertwined with each other, except for number 14, because it's not a good movie, number 14. Number 14 is a really, really bad movie, but it's so bad it's good. It is, I think, this decade's The Room, or I guess technically you could say last decade. Either way, I think that it is The Room for this generation, and it is a little film that is entitled The Fanatic. The Fanatic is a film directed by Fred Durst. Yeah, that's right, Fred freaking Durst of Limp Bizkit fame, and stars John Travolta, who plays a rabid film fan who stalks his favorite action hero and destroys his life. Yes, and it... I'm just remembering this movie. I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars, and that was a very generous 2 out of 5 stars. And the reason why I got that extra star, and actually probably star and a half, is because of the performance of one John Travolta. John Travolta loses himself in the madness of this role so... Now, there's two ways to argue it, either so well or so poorly, you just can't help but laugh. There's one part of the movie, the first line, one of the first things that his character says is he enters into a store, and the first thing hit out of his mouth is, "I gotta poo." I gotta poo. If that doesn't set the tone for the movie, I don't know what else will. So when he gets past the fact that he has to go poo, which is the immediate thing that he has to say, it then just goes off, and oh my gosh, his lines are fantastic. Another point, he causes someone to have to, basically, he causes someone to bleed. I'm not going to explain exactly what he does or what happens to the person, but someone starts to bleed, and he starts going off saying, "Oh, that looks bad. Oh, that looks really bad. Oh, I had a nosebleed once." And then they go to the person, and it's like really graphic, and he's like, "Oh yeah, oh, I had a nosebleed once." And it's just, oh, it's so good. It's so bad that it's good. So The Fanatic gets a very, very honorable mention for being one of my favorites of the year. This is not just the best movies of 2019. This is also like my favorites of 2019. And even though that film sucks, it definitely is one of my favorites. The next one to come in on my honorable mentions list is Detective Pikachu. Just a great, solid family film. I'm someone that grew up on Pokemon. I thought Pokemon was fantastic. I played Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue. Those were my jam back in the day. Pokemon Red on the Game Boy was definitely the one that I played the most, and being able to play the more recent Pokemon games has been like nostalgia fest for me. It's been really awesome and fantastic, and I think the reason why I love Detective Pikachu so much is because it has a lot of references to the original game or to fans of the original franchise, and that was enough for me to say, wait, I got that. That's great. Oh, wait, I got that too. Not to mention having Ryan Reynolds be the voice of Detective Pikachu is also just fantastic. Think of it as a PG Deadpool because it has that same type of humor, just cleaner, I guess you could say. And Ryan Reynolds does a very good job with it. Another honorable mention for me is a film called Fighting with My Family. So for those that don't know about me, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I've been a fan since the early 90s. And I started off being a WCW fan, and then during the Monday Night Wars, I eventually switched over to watching exclusively WWF, at the time WWF, now called the WWE. And it's a film directed by Stephen Merchant, and it stars Florence Pugh, who has been in a lot of films recently. I believe that she was in that one movie about the Swedish cult, Midsommar. And she's also now in Little Women as well. And it stars her. Lena Headey is in it. Nick Frost is in it. Vince Vaughn. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is in it as well. So it's got a very good cast, and it's all about the true life story of a wrestler, a real wrestler, Paige, and how she started off and how her family is just crazy. They're obviously a family that's obsessed with wrestling. They have their own wrestling school, and it's all about how she has to interact with her family as she tries to pursue the dream that she and her brother share, which is to become wrestlers for the WWE. And it's just very good. If it's a film that you don't think you would like because you're not a fan of wrestling, I would say that you probably will still enjoy it. I know a lot of people have said that they enjoy the film because of the performances and because of the charisma of Florence Pugh. and because of just the interactions of the family, and that's enough for them. And obviously, he has Dwayne The Rock Johnson in that playing Dwayne The Rock Johnson. It's basically him playing himself for once. And it's just overall a very entertaining film that I would definitely recommend highly. And then the last of my honorable mentions is a film that was in my top 10 early on, but has since now been popped out, and that is the film Yesterday. And Yesterday, to me, is a movie that deserves a lot more love than what it's getting. It stars Lily James, Ed Sheeran's in it, Kate McKinnon, who I hate, is in it as well. But even with those, situations, also a new actor, Himesh Patel. And it's all about how he wakes up one day in a world where no one remembers who the Beatles are. And he is the only person in this world that now knows not only who the Beatles are, but their music too. And he's a struggling musician, and so he decides that he's going to start to pretend that he is writing these songs that were already written by the Beatles. And it's just fascinating because it's one of those things where you're like, oh my goodness, what would I do if I was in that situation? And, if I had to remember all the lyrics to all their songs, but maybe I was a casual fan, where would I go? It's just really great. It's a Danny Boyle film. Danny Boyle has always been a very good filmmaker, in my opinion. He's done things like Trainspotting, Slumdog Millionaire, 28 Days Later, Steve Jobs, 127 Hours, Sunshine, another excellent film. Trance, which I actually thoroughly enjoyed, and a few others as well. So he's a very talented filmmaker, and I think this is definitely, it's a lower budget film. It didn't make a whole lot of money at the box office, but it was great. So Yesterday is a film also that I would highly recommend. All right, so that's it for my honorable mentions. Let's go back to the chat. But first, I got to shout out John Matrix. Thank you very much, John Matrix, for supporting the channel. Thank you for the $5 donation via Streamlabs. Thank you for donating via Streamlabs. Says, Odin, just showing support, my brother. Keep up the good work. Rose McGowan is a traitor. Yeah, her comment was despicable. The fact that she's defending a terrorist state kind of tells you all you really need to know about her. Because we can have discussion. We can have back and forth about the actions that were done, but if your first reaction is to apologize to a terrorist state, I'm sorry, but I kind of lose any and all respect for you as a person. But thank you, John Matrix. Go check him out. Again, great YouTube channel. Thank you very much, John, for supporting me, man. Appreciate it. All right, going back to the YouTube chat. Micah Martinez says, I have yet to see the extended cuts of Lord of the Rings, but I love the theatrical cuts. My favorite film trilogy. They don't make movies like that anymore. You're right, they don't. And it's the theatrical cuts are still very, very good. Orange Eye Reviews, dip your foot in. Don't tell Sean Astin that. He tried one time during filming a Fellowship of the Ring and got a glass shard through it. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. Oh, Lord, Lord, Lord. No, thank you. No, thank you at all. Hardwick, what are your thoughts on Batman the Animated Series and Superman the Animated Series? Never saw Superman. Love Batman the Animated Series. That is one of the best animated series of all time. Hands down. Tina, yeah, Umbrella Guy covered the story yesterday that Extra from First Avenger allegedly stabbed her mother to death. She didn't even have a line, but the media acted like she was big. Okay, so I'm getting conflicting information there because one person says that it was the woman that played the media woman who interviewed and then slept with Tony Stark in the first film, but now it seems that that story is different, where now it's an extra who didn't have lines. Okay. That's the reason why I kind of try to avoid random stories like that during the streams. Keep things on topic if you can. Dean approved. Going to see Cats soon. Is it so bad it's good, or is it just bad? It's just bad, but I think that it's so bad that you'll just go crazy and laugh. It's not a guilty pleasure film. I wouldn't say that it's that. I don't know why. It's an enigma. That's what it is. It's a film that's not good. And it's not so bad that it's good. It's just bad, and yet you still enjoy it nonetheless. But it's not guilty pleasure. I know that doesn't sound right. I know that the definition of guilty pleasure seems to like fit in this, but oh my goodness, it's its own animal. So good luck to you, Dean Approved. At least you'll be getting the updated graphics. So there is at least that. Zach Gregg, this trilogy destroyed Star Wars. Yeah, absolutely. Hyper, in an alternate universe, we have 2017, the World War woke version of 1917. Also, do you know the way? Do I know the way, my friend? No, I know the way. The question is, do you know the way, my friends? Do you? Matthew Godet, I would rather see the Gareth Edwards cut of Rogue One. Yeah. There's a lot of cuts of Star Wars movies that I would like to see instead, like the Lord Miller cut of Solo. That would be an interesting version to see, even though they didn't finish it. It'd be cool to see the direction that they were going in. Captain Wingster, Odin, I saw a review on Rise saying that if you like continuity, you'll hate it, because expecting continuity from a film ending, not 1, but 3 trilogies, is hard. Also, they like The Last Jedi. Yeah, the hypocrisy in that statement from that channel is just, it's beautiful. It is truly beautiful. Cupcake Geek, the Raven Awards survey made me realize how little films I watched last year. Yeah, it's always funny because there's obviously a lot of film topics, film categories, and it is funny because some people say, oh, can you have a list of all the movies that came out? Do you realize how many movies come out in a year? It's crazy. I recommend going to Wikipedia, look up films of 2019, and you'll see every film broken down by month, and you'll be able to figure things out from there. Captain Wingster, Odin, why do you keep living in this world where Whiplash is a good movie? Don't worry, I still love you. Because Whiplash is a great movie. It is one of the best films of the modern era. What are you talking about? Super says, Ron Perlman will always be my Hellboy, but David Harbour was a good choice. The movie just didn't need to be made. Lionsgate was trying to capitalize on comic book movie craze, yes, and probably I would not be surprised if it had something to do with the rights as well, where they had to make a movie if they wanted to keep the rights, because normally that's why these pointless remakes are oftentimes made. I think it's one of the reasons why Fan 4 Stick was made before eventually Fox was bought up by Disney, but yeah. Zach Gregg, everything bad robot touches is garbage. Hardwick, which celebrity do you think has the prettiest name? My vote is Evangeline Lilly. I think it's a pretty good name. Tina says, thank you very much for letting them know how to contact me. Dean approved. Why do you think Lucasfilm will consider to be a loss to... What do you think Lucasfilm will consider to be a loss? To not make another Ryan trilogy. To not make a Ryan trilogy. Oh, sorry about that. To not make a Ryan trilogy in the future. I think Under the Last Jedi is going to be a good indicator. And the reason why is because that Under the Last Jedi would make it the only last film in a trilogy in Star Wars to make less than the previous film. And if the movie only makes around $1.1 billion, and therefore makes around $200 million less than The Last Jedi did, after all the hype, after all the pushing, after all the marketing, that to me, and therefore with very little actual profit margin gains, I think that will be huge. Because even though it might not be a financial loss for them, it's not going to be a massive financial gain for them either. And I think that they'll look at this and say, obviously, we're not going in the right direction and we need new leadership. I'm hoping that's what happens. Obviously, Kathleen Kennedy is a powerful person in Hollywood. Rian Johnson is well-liked by said powerful person in Hollywood. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to that. Hardwick, did you know that Brie Larson's original name was Brienne? I'm not going to say the full name because I just don't care for that. That's kind of random. Dory the Hobbit, Disney's release, Disney released the J.J. Abrams cut, Dory says. Tina, who asked about my personal movie watching record? Was it someone on DLive? I think it was someone in the regular chat. Hypern, a meaning of a meaning is absolutely nothing, like the movie Ad Astra starring Brad Pitt. Yes, I said Dad Astra, okay? At first I thought that was a typo. Dad Astra. Yeah, Ad Astra is not a good movie. It's a pretty movie. It's beautiful to look at, but the story is just not good. It might be in my top 10 worst films of the year, but I don't even know if I'll have a top 10 because, to be honest, I don't go out of my way to watch a lot of really bad movies, and there's a few that I know for sure are going to be on my list, no question. Let's see. Tina says, Mr. H Reviews mentioned it last night that Cats was up for Golden Globes. He just shook his head and laughed. I didn't hear what it was up for. Yeah, I can't imagine that it's anything good. It's probably going to be up for some Razzies. I'm imagining it's going to be up for a lot of Razzies. Darth Morrill, legendary British director Terry Gilliam, the man behind Monty Python, has claimed he is sick and tired of white men being blamed for everything. Kudos to Terry Gilliam, then. That dude is a legend. Terry Gilliam is just a fantastic director. He's made some excellent films throughout his career. Obviously, Monty Python, I think, being one of the highlights of it for sure. He also made a film called The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which was the last film Heath Ledger ever made, and therefore has a very special place in my heart because I've been a huge fan of Heath Ledger for, way before he was in Dark Knight. And yeah, that's great. That's something that needs to be said, seriously. All right, Justin Proper, what's going on, bruv? Thank you for the $10 super chat. Justin, you don't have to do that, man. Palpatine, I am the Senate. Clink cuts to Kylo with the stones, and I'm Ben Solo. Turns to a dying Rey. I'm here to rescue you. He snaps and restores peace to the galaxy. My endgame ripoff is better. I am Ben Solo. And I'm here to rescue you. Yeah, that is much better. That is much better than if I did not read that in context properly. I'm very sorry about that. That was not the proper thing for me to do, Justin. So very sorry about that. Go check out Justin Proper. He's another cool dude on YouTube. Micah Martinez says, I can't wait for John Wick 4. The third one was great. It was. Absolutely. Shock Jock Productions, you just triggered SJWs all around the first world. I bet I did. And I don't care. Hypern. In 2020, we'll have flying cars. Reality. We get a movie like Cats and Rise of Skywalker being made. Yes, indeed. G-Monkey. Careful. Saw object, subject. Say objective, subjective too many times, and Mahler will show up. I don't think Mahler is going to show up to the chat, to be perfectly honest. I love Mahler, but he's a busy dude. He doesn't have time for my nonsense. My Nerdy Home's here. What's going on, My Nerdy Home? How's it going? Hardwick, I never watched Game of Thrones or The Witcher, but I'm intrigued by the upcoming Lord of the Rings series. I'm hoping they don't mess it up. I hope they don't mess it up either. I think that it's going to be pretty good. I hope. I have high hopes that it'll be pretty good. Entertainment Hacker, thank you very much for the super chat, man. Everyone super chats more than me. I try. Entertainment Hacker, I'm just happy that you're here, man. The chat that you did, the stream that you did with Mad Max was fantastic. Because I think that chat, even though obviously there was a lot of controversy about the links being shared and things like that, and you felt like he was being ganged up on, I think that chat was so necessary because it's because that chat happened that I feel that a lot of the dialogue has been able to come about. So, for example, like I've been direct messaging with him now, and he's a really cool guy behind the scenes. Like, again, he's even kind of, I think, been able to show a different perspective on things since now he realizes, oh, Jeremy's not a terrible garbage tier person. He's actually a pretty reasonable guy to talk to. He can still be critical of him, and he still is critical of him, but he's a person. And I think that having those type of interactions is very beneficial to all of us. Let us see. Super Anime Gamer says, speaking of Marvel, I heard that New Mutants film is finally supposed to be released this year. Think they'll actually do it? How do you think it will be? I can't imagine it'll be good. That film was supposed to release early last year, got pushed back, and then got pushed back again. I don't know how that film could be good, because I think that film was made during the acquisition of Fox. Like, I think it was during the process of which that deal was going on. So I can't imagine a lot of effort was put in behind it, despite some of the names that they have in it. Darth Morrill, Rose McGowan profile pic alone offends the Iranian leaders. Yeah, seriously, right? All right, let's see where we are in the chats. Hardwick, did you see the trailer for BBC's new Dracula series? It looks terrible. Dracula even once quips Pierce Brosnan style, I'm undead, not unreasonable. I don't personally, in context, I don't have a problem with that line, to be honest. Stephanie B says, oh hi, Stephanie B. Soul Assassin says, a good Travolta comedy in a little sci-fi movie called Battlefield Earth. Talk about so bad it's good films that I still need to see. I've heard legends of that movie. Justin Proper says, Detective Pikachu had so much heart and a great twist that most kids won't see coming. Yes, I agree. And it's because of that I thoroughly enjoy it and why it's one of my honorable mentions for this year's greatest films. Tina, thanks for letting them know how to contact me. Let us see here. Hardwick says, did you hear about Todd Phillips' upcoming Hulk Hogan biopic starring Chris Hemsworth? I did not, but Chris Hemsworth, I think, could get big enough to do that character. Kathy Wingster, Odin, can we send Rose to live in the Middle East, please? You know what's amazing to me is people like her will go out of her way to say all of these things, but she will never visit one of these countries where women are actually being mistreated. It just amazes me. Like, I'm all for her exposing people like Harvey Weinstein, but if she wants to help real women who are actually being treated like not just second-class citizens, but like property in certain countries, she would go to those countries to help them. But obviously she won't. She'd rather stay in her ivory tower because that's just how it goes in Hollywood. Jumping over to DLive, Phone Nemo says, 2019 was so crazy that I don't remember what movies came out this year for my top 10 movies. Exactly, it really was. It was a crazy year. Tina says, according to that Umbrella Guy, the woman was a production assistant and played the character called the Stark Girl. She did not have a line. The media is treating her like she was a star. Okay, yeah. Well, even so, why is the media even obsessing over it? It was a person that's obviously mentally ill that did a very terrible thing. I'm just so sick and tired of the media doing that. I seriously am. I'm so tired of us giving all this attention to people that are killing and hurting people. That's kind of what they want. Most people kind of act in that way for some level of wanting to have attention because they don't feel like they're getting enough. And by doing this, all we're doing is, one, I think, giving her exactly what she wants, and two, helping other people that might be going through the same struggles be more apt and more willing to do the same thing. It's just sick. I hate the modern media, man. Bruce, I just gave away the Disney Star Wars I had, but I kept Rogue One. Yeah, I wouldn't have kept Rogue One, to be honest. Yeah, the only Star Wars, I have 2 Star Wars collections. So I have the entire set of the original trilogy and prequel trilogy. And the reason why I bought that, I think that was when Disney had already bought it. But it was on sale for a very cheap amount. But mostly it's because in order for me to legally be able to have the despecialized editions that I have, you need to own the other films already. Obviously, allegedly, some people don't, but just for myself, I wanted to have those copies available since they are the highest qualities of those films currently available. But I also, of course, have the despecialized editions of Star Wars and a couple other editions as well. Oh, excuse me. Let us see. Captain Wingster, Odin, don't worry, I love Whiplash. I have to be your contrarian, otherwise I'm not doing my job. That's right. As being the troll of the chat, you are correct. Captain Wingster, Odin, have you played any Dad of Boy, aka God of War? Boy. No, I have not. I actually have fallen behind on my gaming over this break because I focus mostly on watching movies and catching up on things like that. HyperNex13, I really want to see Sergeant Gunnery Hartman from Full Metal Jacket and Fletcher from Whiplash go head-to-head arguing. Oh my goodness. I'm amazed that no one has done that yet. In fact, I would not be surprised if someone on YouTube has done that. Actually, you know what? I want to see a deep fake of that. That could be an incredible deep fake idea. Shock Jock Productions says, "Do it, Odin. Do it." Do what? I'm so far behind in the chat that context is now completely gone. Bruce, I thought the studio pulled Cats from all consideration for the Oscars. They did for the Oscars, but obviously that was also prior to. It was prior to the catastrophe at the box office. I think that the Golden Globe nominations were already in the process of being released. Bruce sent the list. Thank you very much, man. Super Anime Gamer agreed. Mike Mignola, Hellboy's creator, talked about it. He said Lionsgate contacted him and said, "We're making a new Hellboy. You could try to help, or you could just not." He said yes. Wait, he did help? Oh, well, that's that's really sad that that's the one they decided to get up on. All right, chat jumped on me again. Let us see where we currently are. And then I might start going into my top 10 list of the year. Let us see. While I'm trying to find things over here, Phonemo says, Crawl would begin my top 10. Nice, fun, grindhouse-ish movie. I heard great things about Crawl. I never saw it. It didn't seem like my cup of tea, but I've heard great things about Crawl. Will Gentry, Rogue One sucks. It's boring and awful. That's just how media works. It's all about the most sensational story possible. You're right about that, about the media. And yeah, Rogue One's not the worst of the Disney films for sure, but it's also, in my mind, not the best. Bruce says, I just got this email, The Witcher Season 1 review and reaction. We liked it. Clownfish TV. Glad to hear it. It's a great series. Dora the Hobbit, your thoughts on Uncharted film loses director Travis Knight due to scheduling issues. I'm not a hardcore gamer, so I've never played Uncharted, so I have no real thoughts on that. Hyperin, besides PewDiePie, are you a fan of Markiplier and Jacksepticeye? I like Markiplier's Try Not to Laugh videos. That's actually that's a series that my wife and I watch a lot together. But yeah, I do like their content. I have not watched their content in a very long while, though, except for the Try Not to Laugh challenge. Bruce says, oh, yes, Battlefield Earth is so bad it's good. I have it, and I did read the book years ago. Very, very cool. Nice. All right, give me a second, everybody. My dog River's freaking out by the door, and she might need to go to the restroom, so let me try and see if my wife can take care of that. 1 second. All right, I am back. Decided to leave the chair, try and get the chair some love instead of putting up the be right back. All right, let's see. Where are we? Dean approved. Throwback time when Jeremy told an SJW in the chat who threw a dislike. Jeremy, you know the hate only adds to the engagement on the channel. SJW, aw dang, removes dislike. That's great. Yeah, before this stream even went live, there was already one dislike. There's a few people I have in mind about who probably already left it, and I just don't care about them, so it doesn't matter. Venom Broly 93. I saw the Detective Pikachu twist at the moment I knew the kid's dad was kidnapped and who was doing Pikachu's voice. Yeah, you know what, though? It's still a good movie. You can know the twist and still enjoy it, though. It's still a very good kids movie. Family film, I would actually argue. Maggie Martinez, 2019 was a crazy year. 2020 may be even crazier. I think it will be. No question about it, it will be. Antonio Rivera. What is going on, Antonio? Dude, I hope school is treating you very, very well, man. Captain Marvel is the best 2019 movie. Nope, Antonio, you're wrong. You're wrong, Antonio. You're wrong. That opinion is garbage. Geek True 64. Can we swap Rose Tico for Rose McGowan? Bruce says, a good Travolta movie is From Paris with Love. It is good. Is it really? Oh, it looks terrible. No, I've never seen it, and I have no desire to see it. It looks so bad based on the trailer. Bruce, Rogue One is the only good Star Wars movie. I don't know about that. Ghost Tab, RoboCop, best movie ever made or greatest movie ever made? I'm assuming you mean the original. I've actually never seen the original RoboCop all the way through. Don't worry, I own it. I do have it. I've just never watched it all the way through. Tina, agreed on the media hyping up this story about the murder. If she hadn't been in Captain America, we wouldn't have heard a peep about it. Guess it was a slow news day at the time. Well, yeah, because what else do they have to do but cover a certain orange person, perhaps? And that's not doing very good for their ratings anymore. Ghost Tab, don't post something multiple times, man. There's no need to do that. There's no need to do that, bruv. Let us see. Let me just make sure he didn't post that again. All right, he didn't. Cool. All right, so I'm caught up in the chat. So let me go ahead and dive into my top 10 movies of 2019. So this is the current list of my favorite films of 2019. And again, if you want to see this list and see the updates to this list, I'm going to do an official video for the channel once I've seen 1917. That's like the big movie that I still want to see that might be able to move some places based off of my initial thoughts on it. But coming in at number 10, for one of the greatest films of 2019. Number 10 is a film entitled Brightburn. Brightburn is, to me, a great movie directed by David Yarovesky. What if a child from another world crash-landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a hero to mankind, proved to be something far more sinister? So this is basically, what if Superman went bad? What if instead of him growing up to be a hero, he grew up to be a super villain? And I thought that the story overall was compelling, because it hits a lot of those same tropes of, okay, if I've watched any Superman story prior, like Smallville or any of the Superman movies, you'll have some idea of, okay, crash lands, they have a kid, so it's a family that's trying to have a kid, they can't have a kid naturally. Oh, a kid finally appears and they decide to raise them, but something happens along that person's life where instead of them being a good person, they turn to the dark side, basically. And so I love that dynamic of it presenting a story, and it, instead of it going the way you think it's going to go, because we're so used to Superman, it goes in the opposite direction. I think it's brilliant. I know that, what's his name, was attached to this project at one point. So let's see. Michael Rooker was in this film. Elizabeth Banks, who I personally don't like, but hey, in this film, I thought she was fine. She was manageable. But it was, oh my goodness gracious, James Gunn. James Gunn was attached to this, I believe, as a producer, and that didn't matter to me because overall I thought it was a very entertaining film, so I thoroughly enjoyed it a lot. Coming in at number 9 is a great film, and to me, the best of the world-building DC films, and that is Shazam. I thought Shazam was freaking fantastic. I like Wonder Woman. I like the original Wonder Woman, or I like Wonder Woman that came out But in my opinion, I think that film still has a lot of faults to it. That was a B- movie in my mind. Aquaman had a lot of fun to it as well, but the visual effects to me were just not very good, and there were some moments that I just didn't like of that film. So that film ended up getting a C+. This movie got a solid B+ for me because it was just so much damn fun. So Zachary Levi, I think, just totally captures the essence of the character. He's able to both be an adult but also be a kid, being an adult, which is just a great dynamic. There's a great supporting cast from the kids. Asher Angel, Mark Strong is playing a villain, and he does such a great job of always playing playing that villain character. Jamon Hansu is in the film as well. He's also fantastic. So great cast, great chemistry among all the characters. It's funny. It is genuinely a funny movie, and so therefore I think Shazam definitely deserves a spot on anyone's top 10 list this year. And if you've not picked that film up or not watched that film, I highly recommend it. So obviously Joker is going to be probably one of my favorite DC films, like more so than that. However, when it comes to Shazam itself as being a part of that DCEU, so being in the same universe, or seemingly being in the same universe as, Wonder Woman and Aquaman, things like that, this to me, I think, really just hits that spot. And I'm actually very excited for the eventual Shazam 2 that we will probably end up getting at some point. Coming at number 8 on my top 10 list is Dr. Sleep, which is that sequel to The Shining that I never knew that I wanted until I saw the trailer. So it stars Ewan McGregor. Rebecca Ferguson is in it as well. And it's the story of Dan Torrance, little Dan Torrance, who is obviously much older now, who obviously is also, he's an alcoholic because of all the trauma that he experienced when he was a younger person, when his father tried to kill him and tried to kill his mom too. So obviously a lot of stuff. Directed by Mike Flanagan, who I think does an excellent job here. So just the synopsis: a traumatized alcoholic Dan Torrance meets Abra, a kid who also has the ability to shine. He tries to protect her from the True Knot, a cult whose goal is to feed off of people like them in order to remain immortal. So again, great concept. The one problem that I have with this film, though, is the ending. I thought the ending was a little bit too rushed for my taste. When they take so much time developing the story and developing the characters, and they do it very well, I really enjoy that. But then the ending happens, and I'm not going to go into too much spoilers about what the ending is. But to me, it just seemed rushed, and I just didn't like it. I didn't like certain aspects of the ending. But the movie still, to me, is able to hold up and remain in my top 10 and actually be my number 8 pick in my top 10 list, because the first 85% of the film is just damn near flawless and is just well paced, well put together, great filmmaking overall, and it's fantastic. All right, so those are my number 10, 9, 8 for anyone that's just joining. My number 10 film of the year was Brightburn. My number 9 film of the year was Shazam, and my number 8 film that I just announced was Dr. Sleep. So they were all great. Jump Top, thank you for the super chat over on YouTube, says, is West Wing crap? I've never seen West Wing, so I could not speak to that. I've never seen it and have no real desire to see it. Doesn't seem like my cup of tea. All right, jumping over to D-Live. Will Gentry says, want to know something scary? Both Captain Marvel and Rise of Skywalker are in the top 5 films I saw this year. Whoa. I'm assuming that's because you only saw 5 films this year? But dear Lord, man, if that's honest, you need some help. All right, jumping back to the YouTube chat. Alex McCarthy says, I'm watching Brightburn at this very moment. Oh, it is a great film, man. It is an excellent film. Zach Gregg says, more chair. Oh, I see how it goes. Elevator music, and we're back. See, I wasn't gone for too long. Cupcake Geek. I hope River is okay. Night Odin. Well, yeah, she's fine. She just is very temperamental. It's cold and damp outside because it's been raining the last couple of days, and she never likes to do her business outside when that happens. So she's more apt to try and do it in the house. So if she's crying at the door, that's probably an indication that she might have to do something. And so, yeah, hopefully, yeah, she's okay. Tina says, more chair videos. Do you really want more chair videos? Are you sure you want more chair videos? Are you sure? Hyperin, Thanos would love to have your chair if you know what I mean. He loves to sit. I see what you did there. Super Anime Gamer, yeah, I get why Nola did it, though. I mean, Lionsgate already said they were going to do it, so why not? I doubt he actually helped much. It was just a way to get a bigger paycheck. Yeah, I imagine that's probably the reason why. Also, it meant that Lionsgate could claim that he was attached to the project. Bruce says, I did. Context dislike. You're the one that disliked it, Bruce. I see. Antonio Rivera says, just trying to trigger you. Well, it worked. All jokes about Captain Marvel aside, college has been amazing, sticking to the pre-med track and got a 3.8 in the first semester. Dude, that's awesome, man. For those who don't know, Antonio, since he is now a former student, he was a former student of mine, so I'm glad that your first year of college is going well. Pre-med track, I imagine that it's not easy, but I'm glad that you got that 3.8, man. Keep that up, all right? Don't let the distractions of college distract you from your work, man, especially if you're doing that pre-med, because I had a lot of friends that were in pre-med track in my undergrad, and just seeing them talk about how we have no time, and I would say, you need to chill for a second. Let's go see a movie. I have no time. Yeah, try and stay focused, but also, of course, have fun too. Have fun, reasonable, responsible fun, but don't drive yourself crazy with nothing but nonstop schoolwork, man. But I'm glad to hear everything's going well, man. I do miss my group of guys that I didn't get to see graduate yet. I do miss them. I'm still planning to go down to watch them graduate, though. All right, let's see. Bruce says, Captain Marvel did make it onto one or two of the categories, says Bruce. Oh, for the Wednesday Raven Awards? Absolutely, I can imagine. Venom Broly, first RoboCop is very hard to see when you see what's happened to Murphy. Oh, you mean the actual actor? Okay, I gotcha. Let's see. Antonio then says, hope your new job in town is treating you well. Happy New Year. Hope great things come by your way this year. Thank you, Antonio. I really do appreciate that, man. Thank you. And I hope college continues to be great for you, too. Yeah, it's been awesome. New location has been great. We have seasons, which is fantastic. It's what I've always wanted, is to be in a place that has actual seasons. And the school itself has been fantastic, too. Students, obviously, are students. But overall, I have not wanted to kill any of them yet, so... I think we're on a pretty good track at this point, man. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hardwick, I don't like the ending of Brightburn. I wanted the mother's plan to work. Yeah, I mean, that's the point is we want it to work. But the reason why I like the way it ends is because now they can have other films in that universe. It doesn't even have to be Brightburn 2. It can just be another film. Kind of like with Cloverfield, when you had a film like 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was a great independent film that happened to take place in the Cloverfield universe. I would like to see a film like that in the Brightburn universe with this evil Superman character. I think that could be really, really cool. Ghost Tab, would you watch a Rose Tico show, how she got the sack of potatoes suit? Ghost Tab, if the story is just about Rose Tico finding that suit, yes, I would watch that show in a heartbeat. No question about it. Hardwick, have you seen the trailer for Superman Red Sun? I have not. I don't really care much for animated stuff. Stephanie B, Jamon Hansu? Yes, thank you for letting me know. When it comes to things like that, obviously, Jamon Hansu was only mentioned at one point, and it has to do with Shazam. Jamon Hansu has a great name, though. It's fun to say. Hardwick, is it just me, or does Asher Angel, Billy Batson in Shazam, look like a young Tobey Maguire? Actually, to be honest, I thought Asher Angel was the brother of Arya from Game of Thrones. I thought Maisie Williams was her. Look at a picture of Maisie Williams next to him. They look a lot alike. I could have sworn that they were related. When I found out that they weren't, I was like, nah, they have to be. I don't believe you. I do not believe you. Slicer, I thought Dr. Sleep was that BBC show starring Jodie Whittaker. I see what you did there, throwing shade at Doctor Who. According to Gary, that is exactly what the name of it is. Hyperin, speaking of deepfakes, have you seen the George Lucas deepfakes? Yes, I have. And they've been great. However, I think the success of those deepfakes was one of the many things that led to Collider just laying off most of their staff. So I enjoy them, but at what cost? Not that I really care that much about Collider, but still. Tina, does Dr. Sleep have memorable lines like Red Rum, Here's Johnny, and Play With Us, Danny, forever and ever? Or do they steer clear of that? I saw the trailer and was kind of meh. Well, I don't remember any lines specifically, but that's also because I don't usually remember a lot of things from movies after I see them, except for details that stick out to me, like plot elements, cinematography, actor traits, things like that. I normally need to see a film a second time in order to pick up on lines and to actually write those things down. But not that I can remember, but I'm sure that there are. It's a great film. I really do think that. Bruce, I said Rogue One was the best Disney Star Wars, and you chuffed at it. So what's better than Rogue One, Odin? In my opinion, for Disney Star Wars, if we're talking about all Disney Star Wars, the series Rebels. And I know you're going to say, but what about movies? No, I'm going to go with Disney's Star Wars Rebels, because that's a great series. That's the best thing that Disney Star Wars has done. Easily Rebels. Absolutely Rebels. Let's see. Slicer Neon's West Wing is really well written and offers a great insight into how the executive branch works. Aaron Spelling is a very talented writer. Much respect. I recommend for what you can learn. Awesome. Yeah, it's never really come across as a film that I really want to see. We got 163 people watching. Please smash that like button, please. I greatly appreciate it. We'll get back to my top 10 list of the year in a second. Gary is a savage. Gary's awesome. Father Christopher Miller, Hail Father, says, Pats or Titans or don't care? I don't care, but Titans. Go Tennessee. Since that's where I live now, I guess I'll go for that. I've always been an underdog person. I like when teams that don't have the expectation to win or are not expected to win end up winning. So I will support them. I will support the Titans because I don't think anyone has them winning. Angel Cortez, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, yo, Odin, is Collider still going to put up content or completely shutting down? I'm confused. No. So Collider's still up. They just fired a lot of people. They laid off a lot of staff, and they officially canceled their most well-known shows like Jedi Council and Movie Talk. I just honestly, I don't see how they can succeed, though, because by laying off those people, by canceling their most well-known shows, and by focusing on new content, they've already lost so many people. Like the Collider Videos channel has lost about 5,000 subscribers in the past week, and it might actually be more now at this point. So they're obviously pissing off a lot of people by doing that. So, yeah. Hardwick, as a religion teacher, what are your thoughts on some Christian publications condemning Star Wars as promoting sorcery or indoctrinating viewers to believe in Eastern religions? Yeah, and as you said, Christian publications, not necessarily Catholic publications. So I don't have, obviously I'm a Star Wars fan, so I don't really have a problem with that, promoting those types of things. So, odd question. Let us see. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Slicer, many Collider jobs died to bring us those deepfakes. It seems like it. Hound 3000, I prefer Star Wars Clone Wars over Rebels, though. Oh, absolutely. No. Yes, Clone Wars is better. Clone Wars was not Disney, though. That was prior to Disney buying it. So that's why the question was, what's the best from Disney Star Wars? The answer to that would be Rebels. I guess Mandalorian would now be in that discussion as well. But yeah. Bruce, my bad. I meant live action Disney Star Wars movies now. What's better than Rogue One? Because, yeah, I'm glad you added movie. Because if you just said live action, I'd say Mandalorian. But for movie, to be perfectly honest, this might not be a popular answer. I personally think Force Awakens. And yes, The Force Awakens has a lot of problems, but the potential that franchise had from that movie had a lot of places to go. And I think that if Rian Johnson had not been given Last Jedi, and had you had instead other people like Colin Trevorrow staying on and other directors that they had, I think that it would have ended up being a fine series, not necessarily a great series, but a fine series, a mediocre at best series instead of the crap that we've gotten. But I actually like Force Awakens more so than the Rogue One movie. That's just me, though. Again, that's just my take. That's just my opinion, man. Dean Approve, OMG, almost forgot to smash the like button. Thanks for reminding. Yeah, please smash the like button. I'm sure I just ticked off a lot of people, but hey, that's just like my opinion, man. Father Christopher Miller says, I'm a Catholic priest and I love Star Wars. Boom. Father Christopher Miller. So you got Catholic religion teacher, Catholic priest, and we both love Star Wars. Let me rephrase that. He says, Star Wars up until The Force Awakens. Hyperin, probably a silly question, but what do you think deepfaking technology could potentially replace actors? Not replace actors. I think deepfaking has the potential to cause a lot of problems, because you can easily have world leaders saying something inappropriate, and that could eventually lead to like wars and such. So I'm more afraid of deep fake technology for that. WB says, is that an Ahsoka shirt? Yes, it is. I am no Jedi. Ahsoka Tano, one of the greatest characters ever created. And yeah, this is actually a Geeks and Gamers shirt. So got it from them. Aiden Vickery then says, sorry, Force Awakens, aka TLH Special Edition 2 was an insult. And again, I respect that take. I'm not saying that I love it. I'm just saying that as far as what's the best of the crap we've gotten, that's the best crap covered. I wouldn't even say diamond, because it's definitely not a diamond. That's the best crap covered. I'm trying to think of one. I don't have anything. Crap covered chitlin that we have. There we go. Tina, that was for you. All right, jumping back into my top 10 list. So once again, number 10 was Brightburn, number 9 was Shazam, number 8 was Dr. Sleep. Coming in at number 7, and this is going to tick off some people, maybe. Coming in at number 7 is Alita Battle Angel. That's right, it came into my top 10 list. It was at one point my number 1 film, but several films came out that bumped it down the list. And Alita Battle Angel, though, is still one of the best movies of 2019, is one of my favorite movies of 2019. It's on my top 10 list, so that's pretty much evidence of that. And the film has just incredible visual effects, great motion capture work, great acting throughout, and it's just a very compelling story. And I hope and pray that we get an Alita sequel, because it is just fantastic. If you have not seen Alita Battle Angel, I definitely recommend it. They actually now have more of the 4K steelbooks available. I'd recommend that, because the steelbook is beautiful, and the film should be seen in the highest quality possible. And even though I think that it looks better on the big screen than on a smaller screen, I think that the story itself can even surpass the limitations of your television screen. So Alita Battle Angel takes that number 7 spot. Coming in at number 6 on my top 10 movies of 2019 is a movie that has gotten a lot of love, but not enough at the box office for it to be a financial success. And that is a movie called Ford v. Ferrari. Ford v. Ferrari was a gem. It's just one of those movies where every technical aspect of the film is just done to almost perfection. There's some of the night driving scenes where you can tell they're using CGI and it doesn't look quite right, but that's that's luckily very limited. And so therefore the overall power of the story is able to take over. It's a film directed by James Mangold. If you don't know, also did a little film called Logan. So a very talented director. So it's about American car designer Carroll Shelby and the British-born driver Ken Miles working together to battle corporate interference, the laws of physics, and their own personal demons to build a revolutionary race car for Ford Motor Company and take on the dominating race cars of Enzo Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in France in 1966. So it's a great film. Seriously, the acting in this film is fantastic. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Christian Bale and Matt Damon are really getting a whole lot of love this award season. Maybe that'll change for the Wednesday Raven Awards, since those, in my opinion, matter a hell of a lot more than the Oscars do. But Ford v. Ferrari is a powerful film, and it is one of the best films of the year. So that comes in at my number 6 spot. Coming in at number 5, we have a film that was released on Netflix that I wish I had seen in theaters, but it is coming from one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. And so number 5 is The Irishman by Martin Scorsese. I mean, this dude is just so brilliant at everything he does. And even though this film is definitely on the long side, I recommend maybe watching it in chunks. It is just brilliant from start to finish. The acting here, even though I think Robert De Niro is just an asshat in real life, there's no denying that this dude can act, and this is the best performance that he has given in his career, or rather, that he has given in a very long time. It's, I think, Al Pacino's best performance of his career, playing Jimmy Hoffa. Joe Pesci comes back and is just a rock star in this film. It's a very quiet and subtle performance, which when you think of Joe Pesci, Alex, I know that you're going to make a comment. Okay. You usually think he's the loudmouth character. He's the quiet dude in this film, and he does a freaking amazing job with it. So a great rock star cast. Even Ray Romano's in this and does a great job. Harvey Keitel has a supporting role in this and does a great job. So again, it's a long movie, like 3 hours plus film, but it is a Martin Scorsese epic, mobster epic. He goes back to his roots, and he does it very, very well. So therefore, that comes in at my number 5 film. And the last movie that I will announce before we get into my top 3, I'll go back to the chat before the top 3, is a movie that was in my top 2 for a very, very long time, but there were 3 other movies that, in my opinion, were better than it. But it is still a great film of 2019, and I think will be some people's, or most people's in the chats, favorite film of the year, mostly because they haven't seen a lot of other films, but also because it's just a damn great film, and that is John Wick Chapter 3, coming in at a number 4 slot. John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, is just brilliant. I mean, the fact that we now have the 3rd film in this franchise, with Keanu Reeves just continuing to kick ass, a movie that features Halle Berry not sucking. That's right, Halle Berry not sucking, which is very hard to do because I can't really think of a whole lot of movies that I actually enjoy her in except this one. Ian McShane being a badass, Lauren Fishburne in this film, so many people. Angelica Houston is in this movie as well, but the whole film revolves, of course, around the performance by John Wick himself, Keanu Reeves, and all I can say is that early knife fight scene is one of the best action sequences I have seen in a very, very long time. And even though this is not the best narrative story out of the franchise so far, I do think it has some of the best action sequences of the franchise so far, especially the knife fight. And it is absolutely fantastic. So coming in at number 4 on my top 10 list of the year is John Wick Chapter 3. Some people may have expected that to be higher on my list, but it was very good. But there were 3 other films that I thought were better. So anyway, let's jump back to the chats really, really quickly. Let us see. Let's go back to D-Live for a second. Will Gentry says, you were right the first time. I only saw them, Joker Endgame and Far From Home this year. Okay, yeah. So cool. You only saw 5 this year. That's. I'm glad to hear that. Phonema then asked, you think Brightburn will get a sequel? Maybe not a direct sequel, but I could see them making a film in that universe, if that makes sense. All right, jumping back to the YouTube chat. Let us see what we got going on here. Need to find the comment about the shirt. All right, Glinzer says, maybe they'll show that infamous first gay Star Wars kiss at the Oscars, or maybe China watches the Oscars and they won't. You know what? I could see them totally showing that as being the highlight, one of the highlights of 2019. Size of Neons, I suspect and hope good reception of Clone Wars Season 7 could lead to a Season 8. I'm hoping. I really want us to get a good Season 7, because I thought Clone Wars is definitely the better of the series between that and Rebels. Ray Targaryen, if Ahsoka is not a Jedi, then what is she? I have not seen Clone Wars. You gotta watch Clone Wars to get it, I guess. Watch Clone Wars. Tina, I don't know if I can ever top unclean chitlins, and I'm not... Hold on. Tina says, I don't know if I can ever top unclean chitlins, but I'm going to try. Yes, please do. Angel Cortez, thank you very much for the super chat, says, BOP if right around the corner, and yet no... Birds of Prey is right around the corner and has... There's trailers for it. What are you talking about? Yeah, Birds of Prey has a lot of trailers, man. There's been like 2 trailers at least for that movie so far. Absolutely there's been trailers. It still looks like trash. It looks so bad. Oh, man. Hardwick, I don't think that deepfake technology will cause too many problems. Even if it perfectly fools the human eyes and ears, I think that technology will always be able to... Yeah, but here's the thing. Imagine if online a video goes viral and it's a celebrity or a politician or a president saying something that causes violence, that causes the boycott's not the word I'm looking for, causes a riot. I mean, it could cause a lot of problems because not everyone is going to be able to look at a video automatically and say, oh yeah, that's deepfake. Not everyone's going to be like, oh, let me put this video through my deepfake technology to find out whether it's real or not. They're going to look at it and they're going to take it for what it is. That's what, unfortunately, is one of the problems with the media today, is that people just hear everything they see and think, oh, it must be true. Bruce says, thunk, context might drop about Rogue One. The Last Jedi retroactively nullifies your comment about The Force Awakens being better. Yeah, retroactively. Note the word retroactively. So, I'm just going to say that. Hardwick, what are your thoughts on Jurassic World? Not nearly as good as the first 2 Jurassic Parks. Aiden Vickery, Christian Bale was on top form in Ford v Ferrari. Oh my gosh, so good. He was fantastic in that film. Absolutely. Dean approved. Ford v Ferrari was good. I kind of wanted more Lacoca? That's how you spell it. John Bernthal's character. Oh yeah, John Bernthal's character. Yeah. He was great in it too. Again, great performances throughout that entire movie. Absolutely. Captain Wingster. So Odin, you put the anime waifu under white male gangsters and men driving cars. You have lost my respect. I'm very sorry. I'm very, very sorry that Alita Battle Angel is behind John Wick Chapter 3. Hardwick, I find it hard to buy Robert De Niro as being Irish. Well, here's the thing is that he's not... When you see these gangster movies, they're not off the boat Irish. They're just generationally Irish. So he doesn't have to look Irish. Sound Irish. Damon won't get nominated for anything, which sucks, but Bale will definitely get some love. He's nominated for a Golden Globe, and I'm guessing he'll get an Oscar nom, but won't win. Yeah, and to be honest, out of those two, Bale definitely deserves the attention hell of a lot more. I thought that Damon gave a great performance, and his accent to me is actually pretty good too. But yeah, if anyone deserves it out of the film, it's definitely Bale for sure. Bruce, they could do a spinoff with Haley's character. They could. I kind of don't want them to, though. I would much rather them do a spinoff with the hotel. Stars has been working on a series about the Continental for a long time, but I'd much rather, to be honest, I'd rather an Ian McShane spinoff covering all the stuff with the Continental and how it started and how it works and functions than a Halle Berry movie, personally. Because it's great that I'm glad that she was good in that movie, but that to me was almost more of a fluke than anything else. Oh, man. Hardwick. John Wick 3 is a reimagining of the Man Defies the Gods theme from Greek mythology. I didn't pick up on that personally. 70B, Chitlin Talk with Tina. Rhinos Youth, hey guys, how are you tonight? I'm doing fine, man. How are you doing? Glad to see you here. Dean approved. Do you think Birds of Prey will go woke? I've heard conflicting stories. It doesn't matter to me because it just looks bad. This might be one of those cases where it's not the woke that makes it go broke. It's the brokenness that makes it go broke because it just doesn't look good. There's nothing about the trailers that make me actually want to see that movie. Bruce says that he wins. Nah. Bruce, and give it a chance. I'm going to send you From Paris with Love. No. There's better films. Hyperin, I'm one of those people who didn't hate The Lost World. Don't get me wrong, not as good as the first, but I think it's the closest to nailing the concept of dinosaurs reaching mainland. Oh yeah, absolutely. I love it. Yeah, I don't understand the hate that Lost World gets. I thoroughly enjoy it. Probably because I just thoroughly enjoy that character. Jeff Goldblum, to me, as being the lead in a movie is just fantastic. Tina says, love Ian McShane. I liked him since he played Judas in Jesus of Nazareth. He was great in Deadwood, and he's just a versatile actor. He is a great versatile actor, absolutely. Phonema says, the Deadwood movie would be another way. The Deadwood movie would be another on my top 10, says Phonemo. Awesome. By the way, I can think of another film to add to my honorable mentions. El Camino. That was a film that I forgot happened, but it's the following of Jesse from Breaking Bad, and it's a Netflix film, and it is really good. It is thoroughly enjoyable. It wouldn't make it on my top 10 list, but El Camino, I would say, is another honorable mention. I thought it was very good. All right, let's see. Rhinos Youth says, I came in late. I'm sure you talked about it, but are you going to watch Netflix's Dracula? And if you have, what do you think about it? I might, because I've been hearing some things about it, but I have not seen that yet. Captain Wingster, Arlene Sorkin from Batman is the best Harley Quinn from Batman. Is that the person that voiced it for the animated series? Or am I just losing up on that? Rhaegar says, coming out soon, Jeff Goldblum stars in The Adventures of the Grand Master, an MCU exclusive. I wouldn't mind that. I love Jeff Goldblum. That was one of the best parts of Thor Ragnarok was his character. And Phonema says, From Paris with Love was a lot of fun. Travolta is amazing. Okay, not nearly as amazing, I imagine, as he is in The Fanatic. All right, let's go ahead and finish off these top movies of 2019. So coming in at number 3, my third favorite film of 2019 as of today. And again, this list is subject to change because there's still a couple movies I need to see, primarily 1917. But coming in at number 3 is a film that I actually own and have with me. I have the others too, actually, now that I think about it. So I'll pull those up too. I will pull those up too. But firstly, my number 3 favorite film of 2019 is, hopefully to no one's shock, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I am a huge fan of Quentin Tarantino's work. I just, on my trip recently, watched the extended version on Netflix of Hateful Eight and forgot how much I actually loved that movie, which has some of the best cinematography I've seen in a long time. All of the shots that they have, the lighting, the score by Ennio Morricone. I mean, it just has all of those elements of a great film. And of course, you have Quentin Tarantino, who is one of the greatest screenwriters of the last 50 years or so, who makes yet another compelling film. And he does that again here as well with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It is a long film. It is not a film that everyone is going to enjoy, but as someone that loves Quentin Tarantino's take on history, especially when he changes or just takes a very different take on a historical event or historical people, I loved it. And I would say it is a slow burn for the most part, but when you get to the end of the movie, in my opinion, everything immediately becomes worth it. And if you've seen the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Looking at you, Flamethrower. And it's just a freaking awesome movie. So recommend this film highly. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, my number 3 favorite film of 2019. Other films that I've mentioned previously that I do own now, just to show you that I do thoroughly enjoy these films. My number 4 film, John Wick Chapter 3, which has to me a very beautiful steelbook cover from Best Buy. Kind of got the cross there on the back, which actually came with a mini steelbook, which had the digital code on it, which I thought was really, really freaking cool. And then my number 7 movie of the year, which was Alita Battle Angel, which, again, I just love this steelbook so much. They actually now have more copies available at some Best Buys. So if you're interested in any of those, they are all available. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is now available on Blu-ray as well. And, again, number 3 favorite film. Coming in at number 2, the top 2 of my favorites was one of the hardest decisions that I ever had to make because I love both of these movies for very different reasons. However, coming in at number 2 is the film Parasite. Parasite is an excellent movie that covers so many different genres. It is a social satire almost. It is a social commentary. It is a comedy. It is a thriller. It is a drama. It covers every single different aspect of filmmaking. And this was directed by Bong Joon-ho, who's done a lot of movies that I actually didn't like. He did a movie called Snowpiercer, which personally I hated, but he did this film too, and this film is just so damn good. So just as a preface to it, all unemployed Key Tech's family takes peculiar interest in the wealthy and glamorous Parks for their livelihood until they get entangled in an unexpected incident. So basically, it is an entire family that it's a family that is very poor, and they swindle people into making their money. And so all of them find their way into working in the house of one rich family. And so there's a very interesting dynamic of the poor and the rich, but it doesn't demonize either. It doesn't demonize the poor. It doesn't demonize the rich, which is why I love it. Because in this film, I think that some filmmakers would very much focus on the evil. The rich are evil. The rich are the ones that are always wrong. But the poor are easily in the same boat here and don't really have that much leeway either. And when you get to this twist that happens where it becomes a thriller film, I don't want to even spoil it because I think that you should experience this film without knowing a whole lot about it because it is just brilliant. It is a film that you have to watch with subtitles, unfortunately, but I think that the film moves at a nice enough clip where you don't have to really worry about falling behind. And the acting in this film is fantastic. The story is beautiful, and it's a movie that I hope gets a 4K release. Right now, I think it only is getting a Blu-ray release pretty soon, but it's a film that got very little release, but was still so freaking good, and therefore it comes in at my number 2 film of 2019 and is fantastic, which means, of course, coming in at number 1 for my top movies of 2019 is, of course, Joker. That movie was spectacular. I saw it twice in the theater, and I cannot wait to pick it up on Tuesday from Best Buy. I pre-ordered the 4K Steelbook like a month and a half ago because it was just so damn good. Joker, to me, is a film that's great for so many different reasons. Not only does it have a great narrative, not only are the performances fantastic, not only is it well shot, it was only made for $55 million, and it grossed over $1 billion, all without a China release. There's so many reasons why this film is important. There is obviously the historical element of it being one of the most profitable films of 2019. It is, of course, also a spectacular film to watch. Joaquin Phoenix is the best actor of 2019, and I will fight anyone on that, and I really hope that he gets the recognition that this dude deserves. Which sadly I think he's going to be overlooked by others, and I think it's going to be very political in the choices that are made at these award show. And I can say this much without revealing too much: the most nominated movie so far for the second annual Raven Awards, the most nominated film for Best Picture has been Joker. There's been a lot of other films that have been nominated, but Joker by far, by none, is overwhelmingly getting that support. And I think that there's a very good chance that Joker is going to come away being the number 1 film of the year for the Wednesday Raven Awards. But it is my number 1 film of the year, and I'm sure it's many of y'all's number 1 film of the year as well. So there you go. My top 3, Joker at number 1, Parasite at number 2, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood coming in at number 3. So let me know your own top 3 films of 2019 in the chat, which I will get back to right now. So let me just pull up my DLive chat real quick. And first, I need to shout out Rosetta Allen. Thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Says, I hope you're having an amazing night. Much love and respect, all Father. Well, thank you, Rosetta. I appreciate that. Hope you are doing well also. And let me just double check on certain things. Let's see. We got 175 people are still watching. Thank you. Thought I'd lose some people when I start talking about my top 10. So thank you for being here. Please smash the like button. I really would appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's go back into the regular YouTube chat. Let us see where we left off. I'm sure there's been a lot of comments with my top 3 now being official. All right, let's see. Captain Wingster, yes, animated series. That's what I thought. Yeah, animated series, Batman the Animated Series is fantastic. Hardwick says, regarding the Greek mythology parallels in John Wick 3, the people above the table who John Wick defies are analogous to the gods, while those under the table are mortals. As I said, I think that's one way to read it, but I don't know necessarily if that was their overall intention. Could be wrong on that, but again, I don't follow that, so I wouldn't know. Captain Wingster. Odin, I recently saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I didn't care much for the story, but I love the characters. Yeah, and again, it's one of those movies that I think could definitely be a love-hate relationship, and I love the characters too, and the story I love because of that ending. And because that ending, I think, is earned by going through the process of the film, which is good. Again, I like it because you get to watch these actors who are just experts at their craft do what they do best, and Tarantino give you all the visual just gold that you could possibly look at. It's just fantastic, and I love it. Dean Approve says, Once Upon a Time. Bruce says, Odin from Paris with Love is a good action spy movie. I know not about this bad trailer you saw. Come on, people in the chat. Give us a 1 if you've seen it and liked it. Okay. Captain Wingster, when someone jumps into your pool to attack you, you gotta get the flamethrower. Oh my gosh, dude. That ending is so freaking good. It's so satisfying for so many reasons. Dean Approved, Dumb Fingers, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, slow burn to literally everything on fire. Yes. Yes, 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 and yes. Rhino's Youth, isn't Parasite a Korean film? Yes, South Korean film, I believe. Tina, kind of tied into Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. My nephew told me he heard Beatles' White Album for the first time and loved it. I told him thanks to Manson, it got a bad rep. Have you heard the album? I probably have at some point in time, just I've not listened to it all the way through in a long time. Hardwick, do you think there's any room for a clean-cut hero in the John Wick universe? Yeah, but I think that if there is a clean-cut hero, they will be corrupted by the world. But I kind of hope they don't go in that direction. Cather Wingster, but why would the rich elite want to demonize rich people when they are rich? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, but they do. They do demonize them. Like, so what I like about Parasite is that it demonizes both the rich and the poor. It says, no, the poor can do things like, basically it's a commentary on humanity, that it doesn't matter if you're poor or if you're rich, you can be a despicable person. Like, that's why I like it. It's fair. It's like, yeah, it doesn't matter if you've got money or not. You can still be a despicable person whether you have money or not. And that's why I like the movie, because it doesn't take sides. And I think that's important. Super. Initially, I was interested in it, but now, no. How do you make that a comedy film? And to avoid spoilers, I saw the scene where Pitt snaps to avoid spoilers, and I said, nope. Wait, are you talking about Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Oh my goodness, dude. No. You seriously watch it. It is freaking fantastic. And yeah, that scene, oh my gosh. Wait, are we talking about the same movie? That movie's fantastic. Cather Wingster, Odin, Joker is your number one. Everything is right in the world. Yes, indeed. Bruce, keep from Paris with Love and watch it or give it away during these live streams. Either way, it's on the way. Okay, well, Bruce, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Glenzer, thoughts on the over-publicized Best Movies 2019 list from Barack Obama? P.S.'s March Madness bracket is due out soon. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the fact that he's still getting all this attention, I'm like, he was the first real celebrity. I mean, okay, all right. Some people are going to say, oh, well, technically you can go back to JFK, etc. But he really is the first, to me, celebrity president in the social media age. Let me add that part to it, in the social media age. And that's not a good thing for a president to be. And so many people idolize that guy. And we can have like the discussion about the good and the bad, because I think there's good and bad that he did when he was president. But I don't give a damn what his best movies of 2019 are. The fact that he at one point, or I think it was maybe it was just Michelle Obama, at one point announced Best Picture at the Oscars, that pissed me off, because I'm like, why? Why are you allowing for politics? To me, that was the best example of how politics and Hollywood are so intertwined with each other, and it's just disgusting. It really is. Let us see. Where are we in the chats? Alice McCarthy, I've watched Joker almost every day since Christmas. It's my 2019 favorite. Also, Brightburn is scary as heck. Yeah, it's a great film, though. Bruce, agree with you about Phoenix. I think he'll get shafted on an award. I think he will. He definitely will. Aiden Vickery, my top three, Joker, Alita, and Ford v Ferrari. That's a great list. Dory the Hobbit, great top 10 list. Why did you leave out Knives Out? Because it's not a good movie. Oh my gosh, that movie is so freaking pretentious. It is it's Ryan Johnson, the movie. That's what Knives Out is. Super. Speaking of Tarantino, I've seen bits of his films, mostly Inglourious Basterds and Call Me Crazy, but I haven't liked it. Any Tarantino films you suggest I start with to convince me? The one I would go with is Inglourious Basterds. Watch the opening scene. And if the opening scene of Inglourious Basterds does not sell you, I don't know what else will. That is one of the best directed and written scenes that I've seen in a very long time. Hyprin. Todd Phillips making Hangover, then making Joker. Bong Joon-ho making Snowpiercer, then Parasite. Who would have known from meh movies they'd make great ones in 2019? That's a great take. Rhaegar Targaryen. If you thought Snowpiercer was bad, prepare for the TNT TV series this year. Oh, that's right. I forgot they're making that into a series. Glinzer, my top three Scorsese films, Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Gangs of New York, your top three. Ooh. I'd probably also go Gangs of New York, and then I'd go Wolf of Wall Street, Last Temptation of Christ, and then maybe Silence. It's hard. I don't like doing top threes of Scorsese, because almost all of his films are great. Almost all of his films are great. Hardwick, Obama's 2019 favorite list includes some of the ones you picked, Ford v Ferrari, Parasite, and The Irishman. Yeah, but it also includes a lot of garbage, too. It also includes films that are obviously there for politically motivated reasons. Soul Assassin. A clean-cut hero who falls into corruption would make an interesting spin-off of John Wick. Yes, it would. Hyperin. I love how they handled both the pros and cons for either of them. Humanity itself has flaws. Exactly. Talking about Parasite there. Stephanie B. No spoiler for Parasite, please. I will do the very best that I can. Dean approved. Parasite, all about nuance. Slash of Neons. But Unicorn Store. Oh, don't worry. Unicorn Store is going to be talked about on this channel. But it's not going to be in my top 10 favorite films of 2019. Oh, Lord, oh, Lord. Stephanie B that says, don't say P, say we. Don't say P, say we. What? Captain Wingster, Odin, we need men like John Wayne to come back and kick Hollywood in the butt. Yes. Or at the very least to even out Hollywood. I don't care for the political motivations of people in Hollywood. I just want things to be even. All right, jumping over to D-Live. Phonemo, The Lighthouse wasn't in your top 10? No, it wasn't. Even though the performances are great, and I think both those guys deserve Oscar nominations and deserve love for their performances, I didn't like it. I was not a fan of Lighthouse. Just gonna be honest. Again, technically, it's great. Technically, the cinematography is beautiful. The acting's great. Didn't like the story. I did not like the story. Phonemo, a clean-cut character in John Wick would make a good villain. That's a good point. Kevin Peabody says, I agree with Brightburn, Ford v Ferrari, and Alita. Can't comment on Once Upon a Time. Don't watch Tarantino at all. Oh, you should, man. You should. You might like it. Captain Mr. Roy says that his top 3 are Joker, Ford v Ferrari, and Apollo 11. That is a good shout. So for those who don't know, Apollo 11, this year, there was a documentary that got released, and it covers the Apollo 11 mission. But what's cool about it is it's all using original footage. So they found the original 35 millimeter film prints, and I think other stock as well, but they found the original film prints, and they upscaled it. They transferred it at a 4K resolution. And so basically you were watching film reels from the 1960s and 70s. I guess it would be the 1960s when, late 1960s when Apollo 11 happened. And you get to see it cleaned up, looking freaking nice and beautiful, and it almost looks like it was filmed yesterday. That's how great the quality is. That's why I love film, because film, even though when you watch, back in the day when you'd watch films that have the grain and it have, the noise on it, it has so much information and quality that it's higher than any digital format that you get in today's world. So yes, that's a great shout, because I saw the shortened version of Apollo 11 in IMAX, and I was blown away by it. The footage was just spectacular. So that's a very, very good shout. Phone Nemo says, the story sucked in The Lighthouse. I'll agree, but the technical aspects puts it in my top 10. And as I said, I can respect the technical aspects, but I can't ignore story. Yeah, I can't ignore story. Dean Approved over on YouTube says, Knives Out was easily predictable if you know Ryan's Twitter life. So dumb. It's so true. I agree with you 100% on that. It was very predictable. And absolutely, the fact that they have scenes in there where it's obvious that he's taking shots for his critics on social media, you're like, really, dude? Are you that thin-skinned that you have to write your anger and frustrations into your screenplay? Like, oh my goodness gracious, that movie. Let's see. Father Christopher Miller says, just bought the Blu-ray of Brightburn for $14 on Amazon. It is on sale right now, and that's a good pickup. That's a good pickup. I actually haven't picked it up yet because I want to buy that 4K copy, and I know that it was on sale at one point, I think for like $10. So I'm waiting for it to drop once again to $10 so I can pick that up. Super says, yes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, everywhere I see it listed as a comedy. Is that wrong? And isn't there a scene in the movie where Pitt kills by head trauma? That's what I watched. Everything I see is listed as a comedy. Is that wrong? Oh, so here's the thing. Tarantino's movies are always dark comedies. So it is comedy. It's just dark comedy. So it's not for everyone. But so yes, super. But you have to watch you can't just take one specific thing, one specific shot and sequence, and just judge a movie based on that. You have to give the full context of the story. So again, watch, I would say, Inglourious Bastards, and at the very least, watch the opening scene, because that should be enough. Dean approved. My top 3, Zombieland, Jumanji, and Parasite. Good list. I didn't see Double Tap. Didn't see Zombieland Double Tap. I imagine that you didn't see a lot this year, though. Super. Okay, I'll try again. I'll definitely respect him. Like, Tarantino's films look great, but they just look so artificial to me, so I hate his style of violence. And again, not everyone's going to like his violence. That's just, it's a fact. Not everyone's going to like his violence. Hardwick, Chad Stileski, director of John Wick, confirmed they are based on Greek mythology. According to him, the Continental is Naglos Underworld, for example. All right, that's cool. That's just not what we were talking about, but okay. Dorita Hobbit, my top 3 films 2019, Parasite, Portrait of a Lady on Fire, and 1917. Honorable mention, Uncut Gems. Yeah, I did not like Uncut Gems. That film was all over the place narratively, and it drove me crazy. It drove me insane. And I know a lot of people are defending it, saying, oh, but that's what makes it good. No, I can't defend that. It was just too crazy for me. And Portrait of a Lady on Fire, I believe, is a well-made movie. That just, to me, has that has modern Hollywood written all over it, though. For obvious reasons, if you know what I mean. I'd be willing to give it a shot at some point, though. Hyperin, what are your favorite characters of 2019? Unlimited, says Hyperin. I can't think of favorite characters, but Alita Battle Angel would be one. John Wick would be one. All the characters in the movies that I listed off, those are all my favorite characters. All right, I think that we'll start to wrap things up, but I believe that JJ has funded another giveaway. So let me just see what JJ has put down here, because normally he has a note with it. All right. He says 3 4Ks, 1 for DLive, 2 for YouTube. Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much, JJ. So we're going to give away 3 4Ks of pretty much any movie. We'll do the same thing we did last time, where it has to be a 4K or a Blu-ray. It can be a Blu-ray as well. That's in the $30 range, which is pretty much the standard price for most 4Ks nowadays. So 3 4Ks, 2 of them will be given away on YouTube, 1 will be given away on DLive. So get yourselves ready for that in the YouTube chat, because we're going to start ourselves off with DLive peeps. GMonkey76 says his favorite films are John Wick 3, Shaft, and Cold Pursuit. Heard good things about Cold Pursuit, and of course also heard good things about Shaft as well. All right, so DLive people, if you want a chance to win a 4K over on DLive, again, this is on DLive, not on YouTube, but on DLive, just type in 4K over there. Type in 4K, just type 4K on DLive if you want to be entered in to win. So this is for any 4K title or Blu-ray title, or even DVD if you really want, that's in the $30 range. So let's go ahead and get the random name picker, because that's what I have to use for my DLive people. So let's see who's entering in. Mr. Roy is entering in over there. Cool. And you got to be a regular on DLive. So if I don't recognize your name, I will not put you there. Will Gentry, got you there. So Will, don't enter in over on YouTube if you don't win here. No double dipping, Will Gentry. I know your tactics. Peabody I saw as well. And also, if you're going to enter in, Phonemo Dean Heiss. Dean Heiss. And then, was it M Tiger? Yeah, M Tiger. I know M Tiger's been in the chat. Cool. So, right now, for my DLive people, I got Mr. Roy, Will Gentry, Peabody, Phonemo, Dean Heiss, and M Tiger. I believe that is everyone. Cool. So, we'll do the random name generator, and one of y'all will win a 4K. Also, here is a stipulation. This is a stipulation for tonight for both YouTube and DLive. You cannot gift your movie. You cannot gift your movie. If you win, you got to take it. So if you don't want to do that, don't enter in the contest. If you win, you got to take it, and you got to email me tonight. Because I've had too many situations where we spent like 15 minutes trying to figure out who was getting a movie, how that was going to work. And then obviously you have to be here to accept your your win tonight as well. No crazy nonsense tonight, all right? If you win, you win. You got to email me basically right away. You're going to take it and you're going to like it. Exactly, Larry. All right, so my winner over on DLive is Dean Heiss. Congratulations to Dean Heiss. Dean Heiss, claim your prize. Claim your prize, Dean Heiss. Claim your prize, good sir. So I'm pretty sure he's still over there. So you know the deal. odinsmovieblog@gmail.com. Email me, Dean Heiss. Boom, he claims it. There you go. Email me there. Let me know what movie you want on 4K. Congratulations, Dean Heiss. Captain Dean Heiss, my bad. Captain Dean Heiss. Congratulations to you, good sir. All right. Now we'll go ahead and get set up to YouTube. So while you're thinking about what 4K title you want, Dean, again, just email me. You know how it goes right there. Let us see here. Also, DLive people, since a lot of y'all tend to also be my Subscribe Star people, we did have a giveaway over on Subscribe Star. So if you want to be eligible for giveaways that are not just on random streams, but are, 2 or 3, physical copies about 2 a month, and then digital copies, more than that a month. So that's a separate thing. We had a giveaway of a digital copy, digital code Blitz, and we had 2 winners over there. So Mr. Roy and J-Rod, the beer guru, both of you won digital copies. So email me 3 options from that list I sent y'all, and I will send you what is available. So again, Mr. Roy, J-Rod, the beer guru, y'all won over on Subscribe Star. So thank y'all so much for y'all's support, and y'all won. So there you go. Alrighty, so let us get this set up for my YouTube. So get ready for the YouTube giveaway. You have to be a regular. You have to have at least 2 hours of watch time on the channel. I can check that because I got my bots running. It'll be the same as last time. The ticket cost is 50 digital cookies. So again, 50 digital cookies. You can get 100 tickets max. However, it is 50 cookies per ticket. So only put in for the amount of tickets that you can actually afford. If you put in for more, it's not going to count you. And I'm not going to go back and say, oh, mine didn't enter in correctly. Again, for anyone that's a regular on the channel, you should know how it works at this point because we do these every so often. So anyway, the way that you enter in is you put enter exclamation point, put a space, and then the number of cookies you want. So boom, Heimdall is now given the instructions over on YouTube. Will, you can't enter in again. So don't even worry about the math, Will. And Father Christopher Miller and Hardwick, you have all done it correctly so far, and you guys are freaking awesome. Mine didn't enter incorrectly. Glinzer, I see what you did there. All right, Father, I got you in for 10. Hardwick, I got you for 20. Slicer, 25. Captain Wingster, I got you in for 100. There you go. 70B is saying $1 million. Yes. Tina, I got you for 50. Super, I got you for 75, bruv. Hyper, and I got you for 30. Aiden Vickery, I got you for 10. Hound 3000, I got you in for 100. And this one's going to be a quick one tonight, so you got another minute from that time I'm speaking. Now, just keep in mind that this stream is delayed, right? So by the time you hear this, it might already be closed, so maybe 2 minutes. Well, actually, it's going to be a minute, but then I'm going to add a minute in real time. All right, no one else has entered incorrectly at this point. Remember, you have to have 2 hours of watch time, and you have to have enough cookies in order for it to enter incorrectly. And you put enter exclamation point space and then the number of tickets that you want to get. So Father Christopher Miller did it right. He has 10. Hardwick has 20. Slicer has 25. Captain Wingster has 100. Tina has 50. Super has 75. Hyperin has 30. Aiden Vickery has 10. And Hound 3000 has 100 tickets. Slicer says, since we have to keep it for ourselves, is that ungifting? Ungifting? What do you mean? No, you have to keep it. So it's just gifting itself. Yeah, I see a couple of people's names that I don't really see very often in the chat, so that might be why y'all's are not registering up, because you might be asking for too much. Decrypters. Dave Bob, I got you in for 50, bro. Glad to see you in here. Again, you can't just put the number. You got to put enter, exclamation point, all together, ENTER, an exclamation point. Then you put a space, and then you put the number of tickets you want to buy. It's 50 cookies per ticket. And you have to have at least 2 hours of watch time in order to be eligible. It's like, I don't want anyone to go. You don't have to go away. That's again, when I do the giveaways, I want people that are actually here every night to be the ones that are going to be more able and more possible to win, because they're here every night. It's just my way of keeping things fair, because you all know how it works. When everyone's streaming, people sometimes will just jump in for 5 seconds and then leave, and it's like, I don't want those people just to come in and take prizes from people that have been with me for a long time. I think it's very fair. So if you don't like that, then again, you don't have to be here. But I appreciate you being here. Again, it's not all about the giveaways. A couple of times people say, "When's your next giveaway?" And I'm like, that's not the primary thing that I do. When JJ allows me to do it, I love it, because I love giving things away. All right. We are now finishing in 3, 2, and 1. It is now closed. You can now no longer enter in. We have Dion. I got you in for 53 at the last minute, too. So I got you in there, man. I got you. 16-bit says, you're the level-headed one, Odin. Well, thank you, man. I try to be fair. I try to be as fair as I can. All right, so over on YouTube, we're going to pick 2 winners. So remember, this is for any 4K title that's in the $30 range. Don't worry about tax or shipping. That's not a part of it. Base total, $30. And it could be a 4K Blu-ray or a DVD. Again, it's really up to you if you win. So anyway, the first winner is Dion. Dude, Dion comes in at the last minute and ends up winning the first 4K. Dion, claim your prize. He has to claim it too. If he entered and left and he doesn't answer in the next minute or so, we choose again. But I think Dion's still here. Boom, there he is. Dion has claimed it. Congratulations, Dion. You're the first winner of the 4K. Same thing. Email me, dude. You know how to contact me. Email me. Or I know that we sometimes DM on Discord, so that works as well. In fact, Valkyrie, if y'all could post a link to the Discord, if y'all want to be a part of the Asgardian community on Discord, it's not as hopping as it used to be, but I post all my videos there. There are voice channels there. We can talk to people, continue the conversation. There's a post-stream chat that I used to jump into a lot, but because of time and my voice getting tired, I just haven't been able to. But anyway, Dion, contact me. You know how. Let me know which 4K title you want, and we'll take care of you. All right, so that's the winner of the first 4K title. The second 4K title winner is Captain Wingster, the troll. Oh, the troll has won. Captain Wingster, claim your prize, good sir. Oh, that's great. That makes me happy. Especially when Brad doesn't win. Remember when Brad was in the chat all the time and he was just a troll? I'm glad that our head troll now. Captain Wingster. Captain Wingster, claim your prize. He says, cool, I want a VHS tape. I'm going retro, Odin. And that's why I'm laughing. It's comments like that, which is why I'm laughing right now. Oh, man, congratulations, man. That's freaking awesome. All right, let me just double check here. Cancel. Oh, and I got some notifications. I just want to make sure that nothing else was sent when I wasn't paying attention. No, it wasn't. So Dion, Captain Wingster, and Dean Heiss, thank y'all very much again. Captain Wingster, still troll. Where did I win again? All right, so you get a 4K. Any 4K title you want, as long as its base value is around $30. Don't worry about shipping or tax. Again, I'll take care of that. JJ, again, shout out to JJ. He's the one that sent me the money to be able to do that giveaway. So shout out to you, good sir. He always gives enough to cover tax and things like that. And obviously any revenue from the channel goes into the PayPal account, and that takes care of shipping and stuff like that too. So don't even worry about that because the channel has already covered it. Because as I said, I said this, I haven't said it in a long time, but any money that I get from things like t-shirts, which again, I have t-shirts available. So if you want some merch, check out the links in the description of the video. My Patreon supporters, my Subscribe Star supporters. If you want extra content, if you want extra stuff, like being access to giveaways, for example, check out my Subscribe Star for the giveaways. That's the best way to get access to the giveaways. There is a way to access them on Patreon, but Patreon doesn't allow giveaways. So there's this workaround that's kind of weird. But anyway, there's ways to support the channel, and it goes into the channel. It goes into shipping things across the country, across the world sometimes. Mr. Peabody, who's in Australia, knows I've sent him a couple things, and that was all paid for by all the support that you give to the channel. So thank you very much, JJ, for allowing those giveaways to happen, man. I appreciate it. Bruce says, I'm also sending a copy of The Taking of Pelham 123 with Travolta. Oh, really, man? Oh, man, your list continues to grow, man. And then Wingster says, I'd like the Lord of the Rings extended editions, please. Again, Captain Wingster, email me, bro. Email me. That's the way that it gets ended, because I have to know where to ship them to. So email me at odinsmovievlog@gmail.com, and we will take care of you. M Tiger Home, man, thank you very much for the ice cream donation, man. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. So let me just reset this real quick and pull this back up. And we'll start to end this stream. And I'll end it with some box office news too, since we didn't officially cover that today. Pikachu, FPS 3 says, love you, bro. Excited for Black Widow in 4 months. I'm actually not. To be perfectly honest, the first trailer is for the most part good, but she's dead. Her character's dead. So I feel like this is just them trying to finally give the fans what they've been asking for a long time, and I'm not okay with that. This is a film we should have gotten like 5 years ago. And her character's dead now. So I'm done with that. Slicer says, I haven't won anything all year. It's rigged, I tell you, rigged. Well, talk to former troll Brad Noble about that. Because I'm sure he would have some comments. I'm sure that he would have some comments about that, about it being rigged. And it's not. It's just that it's as fair as it can be. It's totally random. That's what it is. It's totally random. And I think that's the fairest that it can ever be. Super says, gotta head out. Thanks for hosting another Mesa stream. Well, thank you, Super. I appreciate it, man. Glad to know you enjoyed the holidays, and we shall see you Tuesday. Indeed, absolutely. And let me go ahead and pull up something real quick. Let's do some box office coverage really quick. So Rise of Skywalker. Let's go ahead and finish our discussion tonight with the Rise of Skywalker box office update. So I covered a little bit in my video today, but there was indeed a 58% drop as of yesterday, Friday to Friday, a 58% drop. It made $11 million yesterday, and right now it is at $851 million in the worldwide marketplace. And the question remains, is the film going to be able to beat a film like Joker? Joker ended its domestic run, ended its worldwide run, making $1.06 billion. There is a world out there where Rise of Skywalker does not reach $1.06 billion. I think there's a better chance it does. I think there's a better chance it makes that $1.1 billion. However, with a 50% drop this week, and possibly more drops with 1917 coming out next weekend and other films coming out later in January, and this film obviously showing that it does not have the legs that other Star Wars films have had previously, we're looking at a movie that it might be successful by most metrics, meaning it might cross that billion-dollar mark. That's successful, no matter how you spin it. It will be profitable. That's a good thing, no matter how you spin it. And it could potentially be a film that beats Joker. Let's be honest. For us to say that a Star Wars film will barely beat a film that costs $55 million to make called Joker, that's not a good thing. Even if it beats it, if it barely beats it at that, it's not a good thing. So anyway, let me just read some last-minute things from the chat. Bruce says, and these movies are more in line with his Pulp Fiction and other serious performances than anything else. Okay, good. So talking there about John Travolta. Sorry, I lost my mind for a second. Captain Wingster says, saving all those cookies finally paid off. There you go, man. 70B, do you know this is the way? No, is this the way, my friend? Is this the way? Tina says, Black Widow is dead. I thoroughly examined her. I thoroughly examined her, so she is not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead. Oh, I got that reference, Tina. By the way, in my review of Judy, I made a comment about, because who doesn't know Wizard of Oz? And someone left a comment, not trolling, but taking it seriously, saying, but yeah, everyone, what do you mean everyone knows the Wizard of Oz? I'm like, that's the point. It was funny. Hardwick, that is not dead, which can eternal lie, and with strange eons, even death may die. Black Widow. Captain Wingster, Odin, can I get a Captain Marvel Blu-ray? Dude, if that's what you want, man, if that's what you want, email me. Captain Wingster, if you don't email me, you get nothing. Rhino's Youth says, but will Rise of Skywalker make as much domestically as Joker? No, so here's the thing. Rhino's Youth, it already has made more. Rise of Skywalker has already made a lot more domestically than Joker. Joker is going to end up by the end of Skywalker's run, will have whooped its ass, because internationally, Joker made over $700 million in the foreign marketplace. So yeah, Star Wars has already beat Joker domestically, but the fact that Joker is going to be possibly upwards of $200 million higher in the foreign marketplace, that's a giant smack in the face. So that's a great point, Rhinos, because I think that is going to be a huge narrative point. That even if Rise of Skywalker beats Joker, the fact that we're even saying that is, I think, hilarious. A $55 million movie versus a $350 million movie. But the fact that in the international marketplace, more people wanted to see Joker than a Star Wars movie is just huge. It's just freaking huge, man. All right. Bruce says there's a multiverse now, so she can come back from one of those. Oh, don't bring up that crap. Captain Wingster, Odin, God knows, screw Brie. Bruce then says, and I would bet money on it with the Black Widow coming back. Oh, yeah, she is going to come back, but here's the thing. She's not back yet. So if she had just come back, you might have something. But Sicer says, what if Black Widow is only mostly dead? It's not that inconceivable. I see what you did there. Dean approved. Captain Whammon, Bat Whammon, or Sky Whammon. Oh, man. All right, so that is going to be it for tonight on YouTube. D-Live people, let's see. Captain Peabody says, retro is all good. I used to record on reel-to-reel tape. Nice. And he also says, you have sent me lots of films. I think about 9. Yeah, I've sent 9 movies to Peabody in Australia. So, again, that's what money that goes to the channel helps to support, stuff like that. He also says, just checked 9 Blu-rays to Australia. Boom. And then he says, to remind me, but I did send you Steve. You did. You did send me Steve. And Steve is still packed away nice and safely. So I need to find him at some point. And once I move again to my hopefully forever home, I'll have to get him back up and running. And then Phonemo says, no matter what, Joker will be more profitable regardless. Yes, indeed. So those are profitability is a whole other thing. Yeah, because even though Rise of Skywalker is going to end up making money, it's going to be peanut shells compared to Joker. Joker made over $500 million in net profit. Net gain and profit. $500 million clean. Rise of Skywalker is going to have what? 50 to 100 million in net profit? At best, 200 million in net profit. I don't even think it's going to get that much in net profit, but at best, 200 million. That's hilarious. All right. Sean E. coming in with the last super chat of the night, I think. Sean E. says, Rise of Skywalker versus Rogue One box office inflation adjusted thoughts. Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up that real quick. Since you super chatted, we'll continue the conversation going. And let's put in Rogue One. So what's really cool is on a site called thenumbers.com, you're able to put films against each other, and it will adjust things for inflation. So at this point in time, so Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, made at the domestic, so when adjusted for inflation, Rogue One in the domestic marketplace made $556 million. Based on reports from people like Scott Mendelson, Scotty Boy, and others, that's about how much they expect Rise of Skywalker to make. So I think that speaks volumes in itself. The low end of his range is $515 million domestically. So therefore, there is a chance that Rise of Skywalker makes less domestically than Rogue One. That's very possible. International marketplace. Unfortunately, it's impossible to adjust for inflation because every country has different rates. But the international box office for Rogue One was $523 million, whereas international box office currently for Rise of Skywalker was $423 million. So there is a chance it could get close to, but I don't think it will get close to Rogue One's international numbers because it's underperforming in every country. It's underperforming in every country, especially China, where Rogue One did much better than both Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker didn't even make $20 million yet in China. So, yeah, when you adjust for inflation, Shawnee, you have a movie in Rogue One that, in all likelihood, will have a higher gross than that one. In fact, let me see if I can do some quick calculations on this since I have the adjusted for inflation box office numbers. So, once again, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the international adjusted for inflation for Rogue One. But if we take the 556 domestic, which is the inflated number, again, the number that adjusts for inflation, and the international number, and add those together, then, so therefore, the number is probably higher than this because we don't have the inflated numbers for the foreign marketplace. But that would put Rogue One at $1.08 billion. So an extra $24 million on top of what it was put at originally. So, yeah, $1.08 billion when you adjust for inflation, just the domestic marketplace, which means that if you adjust the foreign totals, you probably would get closer to 1.1 to 1.2 billion. So, yeah, there is a very good chance that Rogue One will be a higher grossing film when you adjust for inflation. That is abysmal. That is a complete and utter failure. And that is the reason why so many of us have been so critical for so long of people like Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm, because they have killed and destroyed the IP of Star Wars. And the question remains, will it ever be able to come back? And I think that's a very giant, very big question mark. So, Valkyrie, if y'all can post the link one more time. So, once again, Wednesday Raven Award nominations are currently live. They will be closing around January 12th. I will put out tweets and on the community tab more information about when those will close. But again, if you want to put your nominations out, I recommend putting those in there. There's a lot of things, a lot of categories that you can vote on. So Valkyrie, if you could post that for me, please, I would appreciate that. And just for anyone that may have missed it, my top 10 movies of the year were number 10, Brightburn, number 9, Shazam, number 8, Dr. Sleep, number 7, Alita Battle Angel, number 6, Ford v Ferrari, number 5, The Irishman, number 4, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, number 2, Parasite, and number 1, the best movie of 2019, in my opinion, Joker. So those are my top films. If you want to follow that list, follow me over on Letterboxd. If you want to support the channel, check out Patreon, check out Subscribestar, also check out the merch. I got a store at TeePublic and also at Teespring. If you want to buy some shirts, they're high quality, and I put them at the lowest prices I possibly can. That way, it's not too bad. But 70B, thank you very much for posting those links. Glenzer dropping $20 over on the. Oh my goodness, why just blank? Streamlabs, thank you for donating via Streamlabs, man. Glenzer for $20, thank you so much, man. It says, I'm thinking 25,000 subs is in reach this year, maybe 30K. Happy 2020. Thank you so much, Glenzer. I appreciate that, man. Those very kind words. And yeah, my hope for the year is 30K. If I can end the year with 30K, that would be a great end goal. 25K, I think, is definitely possible. But yeah. The important thing is the content of the people. And I've had great people here. You all in the chat right now who have been here all night, who have stuck through both the giveaway and stayed after the giveaway, who are always active in the chat, always great with the commentary and with questions and everything. You guys are just freaking rock stars and great. Shout outs to Stephanie B and Tina for being my Valkyrie. They are freaking awesome and amazing, and they are truly just phenomenal people. So congrats to everyone that won tonight. Again, email me and let me know what you want and where to send it, and I'll get all that stuff taken care of tonight. But seriously, from the bottom of my heart, hope you all have a happy, blessed new year. And let me shout out some people real quick before I forget. A huge shout out to my January, because now we, of course, are entering into 2020. We are in 2020. So here are my January patrons: animation commentator Brian P., Dion, Divex, Elizabeth M., Enrique Evangelista, Fan Addicts of Film, Father Christopher Miller, Frank the Tank and the Sean Meter Clan, Harold Francis, The Hunger Chunk and Funkin' Monkey, Inflamed Wood, Israel Productions, Jason Clark, Jeffrey Toon, JJ, Jonathan Jarenbeck. Once again, thank you, man, for allowing us to do these giveaways. Lady T, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin, Orange Hat Reviews, Outpost Dyer, Perpetual Punster, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Sir Lanceloto, welcome back, good sir. Theodore Bendon, The DJD Show, Those Two Ball Guys, Tina B, and Sharon Ferguson. You are all amazing and beautiful people. And also a huge shout out to my Subscribe Star subscribers: Larry, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, G2Cool99, Darkstar57, Alex McCarthy, US 888209 Fast, Dean Heist, Harold Francis, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nebadaji Adams, and ZK-Man. And just a reminder, over on Subscribestar, the two winners of the digital copies giveaway would be both J-Rod the Beer Guru and Mr. Roy. So please contact me, both of you, so that way I can get you a digital copy. 3 movies from that list that you might want, and I'll send one of them your way. But anyway, D-Line people, y'all stick around. I'll take care of y'all like I normally do. YouTube people, it's been great. It's been wonderful. Happy 2020 to every single person out there. Please smash the like button before you leave. Share this video if you can. It will be unlisted because YouTube's algorithm sucks. But it's the link will still be active and live for anyone that may have missed it. But you guys are freaking awesome, amazing, beautiful people. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Unfortunately, it looks like I will not be as active on the website that I have been since my break has started. Will not be able to watch as many movies because, unfortunately, school starts again on Monday. I'll be happy to be back in the classroom, but obviously I will be missing the extra time that I had. Summer. It's not too far away. You guys are all amazing, beautiful people. Have a wonderful night. And as always, God bless.